Friday, June 26th. Today, a cold case heats up. Why RCMP are taking a closer look at the decades-old disappearance and presumed murder of a teenage girl from Pungazi First Nation. Also today, emergency appeal. How one local group is springing into action after back-to-back earthquakes rock Venezuela. Plus, learning and adapting. What we can learn from severe weather and how one group is using that information to better protect people's homes. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of the week, and we have Tandy Vera live at Birds Hill Park this morning. If you're into camping, then this is your season. Of course, it's there's so many opportunities and really great ways to spend time with your family when you're out in the campground. So we're going to get some tips from Tandy this morning about some of the camping gear that you can use, some of the new trends when it comes to tech as well for camping, and some fun things that you'll want to keep in mind as well, and what's new with the province when it comes to camping. But will it be a good camping weekend, Catherine?
Depends on your definition of a good camping weekend. If you want to get a little bit soggy, if you enjoy kind of huddling around in the tent as the raindrops fall outside, you're just going to love what's coming our way. Right now, though, as you can see, a pretty gorgeous morning unfolding. That sun is up, a couple clouds here or there in the sky, but for the most part, decently clear. Temperatures currently at 13 degrees this hour. Winds pretty light out of the southeast. Pressure is rising. Humidity sitting at 92%. So yes, yesterday we were always kind of warning that there could be a possibility of rain or thunderstorm activity throughout the day. We got some specklings of it, and with that, we're kind of up to the same tricks today. You can see very little in the way of cloud coverage, but those little glimmers of instability, it abounds all throughout the province. Basically, no matter where you're at, you have a low chance of rainfall or thunderstorms today, but a chance nonetheless, especially with our temperatures finally at seasonal in some areas going above that mark. So looking at our futurecast, you see a good collection of clouds in southern Manitoba, clearer to the north. As the day progresses, off and on, more cloud builds and melts away again, while northern Manitoba, that's where you see a few more pronounced systems moving into your neck of the woods, bringing that slight chance of some moisture and maybe some thunderstorm activity. And then again, into the evening, a couple flare-ups. That's when our chances in southern Manitoba become the most pronounced for a bit of activity in terms of those storms. And then into tomorrow, we're starting to see a more pronounced system come over from the west there, bringing a good chance of some rainfall and thunderstorm activity. Look how it gathers up steam from the system coming over the international border, excuse me. Rainy days not only for us here in Winnipeg, but all throughout southern Manitoba, Saturday and into Sunday. So it's really going to be a soggy one. I mentioned the temperatures, though, decent. 25 degrees, that's seasonal. A little bit cooler in the days to come, but as you can see, by the midweek, we're getting the sunshine back and very hot temperatures.
Thank you, Catherine. Mounties are asking for the public's help to solve a 38-year-old's cold case involving a Pungazi First Nation teenager. RCMP say 15-year-old Betsy Owens went missing in 1988 after going to a school dance. Her body was never found, and police say she's presumed dead. They believe as time goes on, more people may be willing to talk, and Mounties say someone's already come forward for the first time. CTV's Jeff Keel reports.
38 years ago, 15-year-old Betsy Rosa Owens went missing and was never found. Now, Mounties are asking for help.
We do believe that there are key people in that community that know a lot more information that can help us solve this case.
RCMP say in 1988, Betsy went to a school dance in Pungazi First Nation. Witnesses saw her leaving the dance against her will, then taken to a home and never seen again. Police say they believe she was murdered. Her body has never been located.
The main question today is, what happened?
In an effort to push people to come forward, Mounties made this video with family and community members looking for answers and seeking closure.
I just want to say to the people of Pungazi, all I want is my sister to come rest beside family.
You always talk about this. Nobody forgets. Nobody will ever forget.
Investigators have been traveling to the First Nation often. They feel people are more willing to talk now that time has passed.
This has bugged them for a long, long time, and they feel it's the right thing to do. We've had a couple people that have never spoken to anyone before, and now they're coming forward.
And they feel the person or persons responsible for Betsy's disappearance and death were from the community of 700.
There were arrests back then in the 90s, not enough to proceed with charges.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A tip line has been set up. Anyone with information is asked to call the Manitoba RCMP Historical Case Unit tip line at 204-984-5604. A local organization is mobilizing help for Venezuela so aid can be provided following a pair of devastating and deadly earthquakes. Officials say at least 188 people have been killed, more than 200 are trapped, and many more are feared dead. The first 7.2 magnitude earthquake struck west of Morone on the Caribbean coast, about 170 kilometers west of Caracas. And just a minute later, the U.S. Geological Survey recorded a second 7.5 magnitude earthquake southwest of the area. Now, Canadian Lutheran World Relief has launched an emergency appeal to support affected families with critical needs, including providing emergency shelter kits, basic hygiene supplies, and clean water. The organization says through its partners at the Lutheran World Federation, it already has boots on the ground in the region.
They've been present there for many years, and in fact, the experience that they're now going through, this is something that they experience very directly. Many of these staff slept outside last night, we've been told. So they're affected by the impacts of this earthquake very directly, very personally. The communities that they're partnering with are in fact their neighbors, and they're working with them together to jointly find a way to respond and support people that are most acutely impacted by this.
More information on how to get involved in aid efforts can be found at clwr.org/Venezuela. Officials in Northwest Territories say 3 people are dead after a plane crashed fighting wildfires. The Bird Dog aircraft went down near Fort Simpson, west of Yellowknife, on Wednesday evening. Fire officials say they've been to the crash site to confirm the deaths, and there are no survivors. They are now working to recover their bodies. Prime Minister Mark Carney is offering new details about a recent phone call with U.S. President Donald Trump. Carney says the conversation laid the groundwork for next month's NATO summit in Turkey.
We had a long discussion with him and at times some of his senior officials, Secretary Hegseth and his Commander-in-Chief, on a range of issues, some related to NATO, some related to the situation in Iran. We didn't discuss Kuzma yesterday.
Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre says he's disappointed that Kuzma didn't come up during the Prime Minister's conversation with Trump. Poilievre says Mark Carney promised he'd have a good deal 1 year ago, but since then he's made concessions while getting nothing in return.
You know, I just find it incredible that he's made about 6 major concessions. Digital services tax, Netflix tax, removing counter tariffs, the defense spending, the list goes on and on. Many of those things needed to happen. But why not bring them to the negotiating table and get something in return? Instead, what he's got is double the tariffs on aluminum and steel and triple on lumber.
The Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade deal is nearing an important deadline of July the 1st. That's when officials in all 3 countries must decide whether they want to extend the deal or agree to an annual review. Canada and Mexico have already declared they want an extension. The U.S. position remains unclear. The Winnipeg Police Service is modernizing its bike patrol. 16 new e-bikes have been added to the service's bicycle fleet. They will be deployed across all 4 districts for use in combination with the mountain bikes traditionally used by the patrol. Members say the new bikes allow them to reach a scene faster.
I've been on the regular mountain bikes when there's a call maybe a few blocks away, and by the time you get there, you're huffing and puffing and out of gas. With the e-bike, that allows you to kind of maintain yourself a little bit more and be able to react to the situation once we arrive on scene.
The bike patrol allows officers to access locations with a lot of foot traffic that are difficult to reach by traditional police cruisers like parks and trails. The added mobility of bikes and now e-bikes means they also have an easier time attending special events. 25 officers have completed the specialized bicycle patrol training. The patrol operates between May and October. A cat in British Columbia showed no fear when a large predator waded into its territory. An unlikely game of cat and mouse, except with a bear. In the video posted on social media, the feline is seen boldly charging at a black bear that wandered into a backyard area in Quesnel. The bear gets spooked and darts around the grounds before hopping over the fence. That's one angry cat. Here's a look at what's happening now outside at Confusion Corner. The sun is rising. It looks beautiful out there, as you can see, and barely anyone out in this part of the city at this point. If you see any problems out on the streets, please send us a text to let us know. Let's go now to Tandy Vera, who's hanging out at the park at Birds Hill Park this morning. The campground is ready for campers. Hi, Tandy.
Hi, good morning, Rochelle, and good morning, Manitoba. Yes, it's ready for campers. In fact, driving in this morning, there are already some campers who've been sleeping in, and right now we're actually setting up camp for this morning, so I'm so excited. I love camping, especially in this weather. It's so beautiful and so sunny out today, so whether you're a seasoned camper or maybe a first-time pitcher, going out in the great outdoors is so much fun, but it takes a lot of planning and packing the right gear, the right equipment, and also just knowing how to be safe with wildlife out there. So today we're going to be chatting with a few experts for some tips and tricks for camping this morning. And we're going to learn some hacks that you can find and how to protect yourself from wildlife. So it's going to be a great morning. Stick around with us and we'll have it all set up by the next hour.
I can't wait. All right, thank you, Tandy. Let's go out to the rooftop now. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day, but it's not going to last this weekend.
No, that's for sure, Rochelle. But it is, to your point, gorgeous. The sun rising is risen, spreading just some beautiful golden sunshine over downtown Winnipeg. 14 degrees currently, winds are out of the southeast, pressure's rising, humidity sits at 91%. So today is very much a replay of what we saw yesterday. All throughout the province, there's a low chance of rain and thunderstorm activity. That possibility for a stray thunderstorm to pop up likely into the afternoon hours for us here in the south. Temperatures will be in the mid-20s for us in Winnipeg, 25 degrees, bang on to what's seasonal, and some decently light winds out of the south at about 20 kilometers per hour. However, a much more substantial threat is rolling in tonight for a stronger, more organized convection. So what that looks like, it is going to come likely late Friday, just making sure my timing is correct. It's a large-scale upper trough that's likely to spread more organized thunderstorms and rainfall through southern Manitoba. And this could last for a number of days, likely as far into as Tuesday. That's only for southern Manitoba, however. The north, you're going to be dealing with sunshine into tomorrow. A lovely weekend for you with above seasonal temperatures. Well, we'll be hanging onto those umbrellas for the good couple days to come. I'm going to head inside, but we've got so much more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg still to come. Don't go anywhere.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
Good morning. Residents in the northern Manitoba community of Leaf Rapids say they are living in a state of crisis, plagued not just by crime, but a never-ending boil water advisory and a lack of resources. Here's CTV's Alex Karpa.
Burnt homes, crumbling infrastructure, and a lack of access to basic necessities are issues residents of Leaf Rapids in northern Manitoba face. Now they are dealing with an increase in crime.
I guess it's been a state of crisis.
In the last few weeks, the community of around 250 people have dealt with the rise in theft, firearm-related incidents, and an investigation into the suspicious death of a 21-year-old man.
It's been very sparse with people letting their kids out of the house or just keeping them in the backyard or in the house and stuff like that. And, like, you know, it just seems so unfair.
The community hasn't had safe drinking water for years, and the town's only grocery store has limited food. Earlier this week, the town's residents held a meeting and wrote an open letter to both provincial and federal officials, begging for immediate help.
We have absolutely nobody advocating for us.
Leaf Rapids has been without local leadership since 2019, when the province dissolved the mayor and council and assumed administrative control. Former Mayor Irvin Biggity believes bringing back its own municipal government would help solve these persisting issues.
People are starting to push back against government. They want their local government back. You know, they want a mayor and council. They want advocacy.
The town's population is predominantly Indigenous, and advocates argue the conditions in Leaf Rapids are a reflection of systemic racism.
If these were 300 non-Indigenous people, would it ever gotten to this state? I guarantee you it wouldn't have.
The Manitoba government says they will continue to support the residents of Leaf Rapids and will work with them to find solutions moving forward. But those that I spoke to say that support has not yet been given. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The Air Force Base in Winnipeg is expanding, and Winnipeg's mayor hopes it will be a boon for the city's construction sector.
When Department of National Defense puts out a contract, not just anybody can bid. You've got to be qualified.
Getting Winnipeg companies ready to bid on 17 Wings expansion is why a panel was held Thursday featuring Mayor Scott Gillingham, the base commander, and the Winnipeg Construction Association. It's providing information on the specific requirements to enter the national defense procurement process, which includes things like security clearances. The first phase of the expansion will be a national defense substation.
The substation will be the power requirements for us to be able to bring in the new projects, for example, future aircrew training program, the future kayak capability, these projects that have been announced and funded.
17 Wing is currently in the planning phase of the expansion and building new space to accommodate further projects over the next 5 to 20 years. The expansion is expected to support as many as 1,400 jobs. King Charles has revealed he won't move into Buckingham Palace once the palace's massive makeover is complete next year. After years of renovations worth about $700 million Canadian, King Charles and Queen Camilla will stay at Clarence House, where they've lived since 2005. The palace will continue to be used by the monarchy for official duties and major royal events. Saturday will mark 1 year since Winnipeg's iconic Portage and Main intersection reopened to pedestrians, but the future of the underground concourse and the businesses still there remains unclear.
First of all, we continue to work with the property owners on the four corners of Portage and Main to hear them and to hear their concerns. Our staff wants to, is taking a look at what can be done in the underground, whether we do need to close it or whether there's some other means by which we can address the issue.
Mayor Scott Gillingham says he stands by his decision to not pursue costly repairs to replace a leaking waterproof membrane, which could potentially have kept the concourse open. That project would have cost in excess of $70 million. However, the mayor says the company that reopened the intersection actually made some repairs on the membrane as part of the work, but it's not clear how much of it was fixed. Summer showers didn't dampen spirits Thursday evening at Princess Auto Stadium, but by the end of the night, the scoreboard wasn't exactly prompting many smiles.
Former #1 overall pick at the recovery. Here we go, and a shot for the end zone right away from the 30 and nearly received.
The Bombers squared up against the Edmonton Elks as the guys in green looked to improve their 3-0 record. Despite letting a 17-point lead slip away, the Elks took this match up. Edmonton 23, Winnipeg 18. The Bombers now hit the road for a Sunday game on July the 5th against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It's slated to start at 6 p.m. Winnipeg time. Sweden's environment minister brought her infant son to an EU council meeting. 3-month-old Adam was there with mom as ministers talked about climate change policies. An EU official says this is the first time a baby has joined a minister's meeting. The Swedish minister had just returned from mat leave. She brought her baby to the meeting to highlight the benefits of parental leave. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. On McDermott Avenue, all eastbound lanes will be closed from Francis to Dagmar Street. The north and southbound curb lanes on Queenston Street will be closed from Kingsway to Wellington Crescent. And the westbound curb lane on Jefferson Avenue will be closed from McGregor to Parr Street. If you see any problems out on the streets, please send us a text at 10400.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution.
Casting our eye to the lovely sky, 14 degrees on this Friday morning. Couple clouds out there, but for the most part, sunny, golden, and beautiful. Winds are out of the southeast, barometric pressure on the rise, humidity at 91%. The calm before the many storms potentially unfolding out there in Winnipeg and the surrounding Red River Valley. It's a lovely calm start, but as we know, instability has kind of always been lurking on the horizon, and it's going to get even more severe into the weekend. Details on that ominous note in a minute, but right now, let me move it out of the way so you can all see your current conditions. 11 degrees over in Brandon, 13 in Portage La Prairie, 9 in Fisher Branch. Moving to northwestern Ontario now at 14 degrees. Northern Manitoba temperatures similar, 15 in Swan River, 12 in Island Lake at 14. Churchill kicking off the day at 6. So yes, once again today we have that low chance, but a chance nonetheless of some rain and thunderstorm activity all throughout the province, not just here in Winnipeg. You can see a little bit of cloud coverage kick off the day and a couple glimmers, a couple rise ups there of little disturbances that could give way to that rainfall and thunderstorm activity. For us here in Winnipeg, the threat really comes into the afternoon. It'll be 19 degrees as kids head out under decently clear skies, getting warmer at 23 as lunch rolls around. And on the way home, that's when we have that 30% chance of rain and thunderstorm activity with a high of 25 degrees. That's seasonal. Winds will be pretty light today and staying so overnight, but overnight is also when we start to to see temperatures not giving away too much, but with it, a longer period of broad instability and a stronger chance of severe thunderstorms. So what that looks like: Saturday, high of 24, rain and thunderstorm activity off and on. Could be our day with the strongest likelihood for that instability, for that lightning. And then into Sunday, more rain. And as you can see, we're really sticking with it into the mid next week point. Wednesday is when we start to see the sunshine return and those temperatures heat up. Your Skywatch picture of the day: David snapped this stunner in Grand Rapids. Thanks so much for submitting, and keep your weather pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
It's time to see our sports team moment now. Today's picture is from the soccer team Cirque du Soleil Legs. Katya shared this photo of their last championship title. Great, I love it. To participate in this contest, tell us about your most memorable fun team moment, and you will be entered the draw to win a $100 Chicken Chef gift card with draws every week. Head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form with your answer and your picture. Good luck.
Your Manitoba sports team moment brought to you by Chicken Chef, where memories are made.
The party continues in Vancouver as fans from around the world gather in the streets. CTV's Isabella Zavarizi follows the bouncing ball, bringing people together.
You don't need a formal invite to join, just a desire to keep the ball off the ground.
The energy, the environment, the atmosphere, it's magical. It's amazing.
Scattered along Granville Street, groups of people are juggling. Some strangers, some friends. These two only met when the tournament began.
Whenever we start a circle, it always starts
joins.
It always starts out just the two of us, and we get a good circle, like game going between us, and then within 5 minutes, 20 people, the whole street shut down.
Some are skillful, balancing and cradling the ball with ease, while others are still finding their feet.
When I first started, I wasn't that good, but it's getting better every day, and people from all over the world, right? This guy over here, he's from Brazil, so we're learning some good tricks from him.
I've been downtown 2 times, and I played every single time. I'm not that good, but it's just for the experience,
But here, skill isn't the point. These juggling circles cross cultures.
It's very international, which I think speaks to what this game is all about. And it's incredible to see not just people from the city like them, but also, tourists coming from all around the world.
Fans from dozens of countries all cheering for each other. And while everyone is rooting for their home country, when that's not an option, they're happy to borrow someone else's dream.
I'm not even Brazilian, but I'm Brazilian like yesterday. I was Moroccan last week, and I was Egyptian yesterday.
And that's exactly what this is about. A laugh, a memory, uniting people beyond the score of the game.
There's no animosity or hatred between the nations, even when they're competing. It's pretty incredible.
As Canada and the world leave their mark on the pitch, it's out here on the street, where the people's game shows why it's so beloved. Isabella Zavarici, CTV News, Vancouver.
These two German fans have turned their World Cup journey into a road trip, and they're traveling in style in a 1991 Volkswagen Golf decked out in team colors. The car is also a rolling autograph book. It has signatures from 37 World Cup winners and 15 European champions. The next leg of their trip will be from New Jersey to Boston. So cool. Here's a look at some of the cars in this part of the city. Portage Avenue at Polo Park looks like things are moving well to start off this Friday morning. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Catherine, the weekend is here, but I don't think I'll be spending much time outdoors.
Yes. In fact, I don't like to be a naysayer on getting outside and enjoying if it's raining, but we could have some thunderstorm activity out there. So at that point, obviously a safety risk. So yes, good point to make that maybe you don't want to be lingering terribly while we deal with a stormy weekend ahead. I'll have details on that in a moment. Right now, though, it's 14 degrees, slightly overcast to kick us off, but some pockets of sunshine here or there. Winds light out of the southeast. Pressure is rising, humidity sitting at 91%. So yes, another day with that looming threat of a stray rain shower or maybe some thunderstorm activity, but a more organized and substantial threat is on the horizon. Right now, though, on our radar, you see a couple of blips here or there that represents that instability. So kind of at any moment, a scattered thunderstorm could be popping up like we saw yesterday. For me, I saw it into the late afternoon, but it was quick and it went by pretty quick. That's similar to what we're going to be dealing with today. 25 degrees degrees, that 30% chance of showers or thunderstorm activity does linger. For the most part, though, a mix of sun and cloud. Winds decent out of the south at 20 kilometers per hour. Overnight tonight, much the same, although winds are ramping up slightly. Temperatures at 16 degrees, and again, that chance lingers of some rainfall. But then things get a little bit different into the weekend. A good chance of rain and thunderstorms tomorrow. That's because a more organized system, a large-scale upper trough, it's pushing in from the western U.S., likely to bring a few days of potentially severe convection, so potential for severe thunderstorms. It's still unclear how it exactly will play out. We'll likely get some more modeling in the next hour, but for the time being, we know tomorrow's likely to have some thunderstorm activity, while Sunday could just be some rain. Temperatures a few degrees below seasonal, 23 is what we're looking at. And then, as you can see, that rainfall expected to stick around into Monday and Tuesday before a substantial warm-up on Wednesday with beautiful sunshine.
Thank you, Catherine. MPI is opening a second hail response center following an influx of storm claims. The Crown Corporation says the June 9th storm resulted in 25,000 claims, the largest number it's ever received from a single weather event. The new center, which is located at its Main Street Service Center in Winnipeg, will offer damage assessment appointments for those in the city and surrounding areas. After opening a claim, customers will be contacted with information about how to book at one of the hail response centers. Across the two locations, MPI will now be able to offer 400 daily appointments. MPI is also completing initial damage assessments at its Arborg Service Center due to the more than 200 claims opened in the Interlake region. The initial claim center at its Gateway location opened last week and has already completed 1,800 assessments. Some Manitobans are still dealing with the fallout from that destructive storm system that rolled through the province on June the 9th. And a group of scientists and engineers are in town this week to not only study those storms, but share how Manitobans can prepare for these types of weather events in the future. CTV's Daniel Homerson reports.
2, 1. This isn't a science fair project on steroids. It's a real-time look at how destructive severe weather can be. You're looking at a golf ball-sized piece of ice traveling at over 100 kilometers per hour. And hailstones even bigger than this hammered parts of Manitoba during severe storms on June 9th.
So those were supercells, so they were really significant thunderstorm events. They spun off some tornadoes, a hailstone from a resident that was 8 centimeters. So these are really large hailstones.
Gregory Kopp and his team from Western University's Canadian Severe Storms Lab study summer weather events across Canada, focusing on tornadoes, damaging winds, large hail, and flash flooding. And Kopp says these types of disastrous storms are happening more frequently.
We're trying to capture this data to understand the changing patterns. Tornadoes seem to be shifting eastward, for example.
The lab uses the data to learn how to build tougher infrastructure by using materials like hurricane straps, along with impact-resistant shingles and siding.
We can look at things that help protect houses from tornadoes and keep them intact, to backwater valves that keeps water out of your basement when there's a massive thunderstorm.
Kopp says proactive measures don't just make houses safer, they help reduce losses caused by severe weather.
Every one of these events, we're always talking about billions of dollars now. That affects insurance rates. It's kind of like death by 1,000 cuts, all these things. And if we can reduce the losses, it keeps insurance affordable.
Daniel Homerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
RBC has been fined $4.25 million for a violation of the Bank Act. The Financial Consumer Agency of Canada says RBC violated a consumer provision by failing to transfer credits from deactivated credit card accounts to customers' new accounts. The agency says as a result, some customers received inaccurate monthly credit card statements and some were given additional charges. Between 2001 and 2024, more than 227,000 accounts were affected. Calgary police have released new photos of potential suspects in extortion cases targeting the South Asian community. The move is in hopes of generating new tips from the public.
Earlier this year, we launched Operation Orion and Operation Outage, two focused, ongoing efforts that combine investigative work with intelligence-led suppression. These operations have led to meaningful progress, including arrests, charges, and reduction in the frequency of extortion attempts. However, this work is far from over, and these investigations remain active. To date, 16 individuals have been charged with 56 offenses.
There have been 49 extortion-related incidents in Calgary since April 2025, including 19 shootings. So far, 16 people have been charged with a total of 56 offenses. Investigators say they have seen a drop in extortion attempts, but there is still more work to be done. Adding investigations and enforcement efforts are ongoing. Opinions are divided on 24 Sussex Drive ahead of an announcement about its future today.
Keep the historic house, 24 Sussex, because it was a place where many important things happened.
Perhaps it's better to take it down and rebuild.
We'll learn more about plans for the residents when Prime Minister Mark Carney holds a news conference today. Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau chose to live at Rideau Cottage when he came into office in 2015. That's also where Prime Minister Carney and his family live right now. Problems with 24 Sussex include rodents, old heating and electrical systems, and asbestos. The NCC says it would cost $36.6 million to restore it. Here's a look at what's happening now in traffic along the Norwood Bridge. Still really light and barely anyone out here at this point in the drive. Here's a look now at your gas prices in Winnipeg. The average is $1.60. It's a small drop from yesterday's amount, and the lowest price in the city is $1.44, found at Canco on Isabel Street and 204 Fuels on Salter Street. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Coming up, we pitched a tent at Birds Hill Park this morning. If you're doing some camping this summer, we're going to tell you how to do it in style. Kenny just woke up. We'll be back after this.
Weather is brought to you by the Better Business Bureau. Research at bbb.org before you buy.
Just a lovely start to our Friday out here. Lots of sunshine, mild at 14 degrees. Winds light out of the southeast at 9 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity at 91%. So once again, my job is somewhat easy because a lot of Manitoba has a very uniform forecast. What that looks like is a mix of sun and cloud, clear in the morning, more clouds into the afternoon, and a low chance, but a chance nonetheless, of rainfall and thunderstorm activity off and on throughout the day. So this could very much look like yesterday, scattered and non-severe if we do get any of that activity at all. Temperatures at or above seasonal. For us in Winnipeg, that's 25 degrees, but highs will be very similar all throughout the province. Then we diverge like two roads, if you will, overnight. We here in the south get a more severe threat, if you will, of some convective activity. So severe thunderstorms, rainfall could begin tomorrow and really last for a couple of days, while the north will be sitting pretty in the sunshine and those lovely temperatures in the mid-20s. Right now, let's head over to our own Tandy Vera, who is kicking off camping season. Good morning, Tandy.
Good morning, Catherine. Good morning, Manitoba. We've set up our tent right now, as you can see in the background. I'm joined by the lovely Crystal this morning. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, we're talking camping essentials, and you bought quite a lot of items this morning. Chat us through what you have on display right now.
For sure. Excuse me. So at Wilderness Supply, we have all the best things that you would need for your outdoor adventures. It's super important to have great bug protection, so we have bug jackets and bug shirts. We also have some great little packable shower things, so you can easily just store everything in a smaller space, so you don't have to bring a bunch of stuff. Hydration is really important. We've also got some rain gear, which is fun. It breaks down into those little bags. So lots of really cool things just to protect yourself and make your camping more comfortable.
And there's something really snazzy as well. Even your shirt protects you. Can you chat more about that?
Yeah, so a lot of clothing now have a UPF in them. So this is a UPF 40, so it does protect you from the sun, which is really great.
That's so cool. Very, very snazzy. You also have some interesting, fun gadgets as well on display. Walk us through that as well.
Yeah, for sure. So this here is like a little tripod light, so it also breaks down and becomes a flashlight, which is pretty fun. But also we've got some really cool games and things just for your entertainment. We have hammocks, which are great. There's different lanterns. This is a fun pillow. Great coolers, all sorts of Yeti stuff, which is awesome. Even that little chair over there breaks down into a small bag. So lots of really packable, lightweight things.
And lightweight is very key. Walk us through why.
Yeah, just because when you're traveling, you don't want to have to haul a bunch of heavy things. So they've really designed things now to be ultra light. So, if you're carrying it in your backpack, it's not putting a lot of weight on your body, but also small enough that if you are going car camping, you can kind of fit everything in.
And do you have one tip or advice that you'd give to our audience for first-time campers who are going out?
I think it's really important to make sure that you have good bug protection, good lighting, because you never know when you're going to need a light. Also, headlamps are really great. So I think just having the proper, gear that makes you feel comfortable, and your safety is always first and foremost. So making sure that you have all the things that you need to make your experience great.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Crystal. We have more lined up, so stay tuned.
Here's a look at the early markets. The Dow Jones is 64 points lower. The Nasdaq fell 370. The S&P index had small losses. The loonie increased to 70.51 cents U.S. Overseas, the Hang Seng lost 405, and the Nikkei plummeted 3,005 points. Good morning. It is 6:46. The City of Winnipeg's energy use and emissions climbed in 2025, with the public service saying greenhouse gas levels will need to decline faster for the city to meet its targets. Both metrics, energy usage and emissions, rose by about 1.5% last year. The increase in emissions was largely driven by CO2 emissions from the landfill, increasing diesel fuel consumption, and increased use of natural gas. The largest single increase in energy consumption came from city facility buildings, which consumed 4% more energy, mostly because of the demand for heat. The city's use of electricity dropped, but emissions actually increased. The public service says that's partly because 2 years of low water means Manitoba Hydro's electricity generation came from more carbon-intensive generators. Pembina Trails Elementary School has a new name. Dalhousie School will now be known as On-e-Bim-anon. It's the word from which Pembina originates and means summer berries. The name was chosen in consultation with language and knowledge keepers. A decision was made to change the name after a report from Dalhousie University found Lord Dalhousie enacted policies during his time as Nova Scotia governor that negatively impacted Black people in Canada. Signage, communication, and materials will be updated with the new name in the coming months. The federal government has announced sweeping bail and sentencing reforms to help fight against retail theft and violence against transit workers.
We heard from business owners repeatedly who are increasingly frustrated when people don't want to come to their downtown business districts because of the culture that has emerged with episodes of crime and often violent crime.
Justice Minister Sean Fraser made the announcement in Halifax, where store owners have complained about the growing problems of violence, vandalism, and theft. The changes are specifically coming to Canada's Bail and Sentencing Act, Bill C-14. Changes include making bail more difficult to get for repeat offenders and asking judges to consider consecutive sentences for violent repeat offenders. These tougher measures come after accusations from the opposition that they've been too soft on crime. A fireworks show on Montreal's West Island ended with a fire breaking out on a barge off the shores of Point Claire.
Obviously, there was nothing you could do. The fire department and the services had no access to the boat. It was in the middle of the lake, and there was no danger. So they came to the conclusion, just let it burn.
The fire broke out at around 10:30 p.m. on Saint Jean-Baptiste Day. The show was run by remote control, and nobody was on the barge at the time. The city had initially switched fireworks shows from the shoreline to a barge for safety reasons. A similar show is scheduled for Canada Day. It will go ahead with safety measures in place. The company running the shows has ensured it will go ahead smoothly. Prices on some Apple products are on the rise thanks to an AI-fueled demand for memory chips. Apple laptops and iPad product lines are all among the products to see a spike in prices, some by as much as $200. The company said the growing expansion of AI data centers has led to a surge in demand for memory and storage. The increases have taken effect, and as a result, Apple's stock fell 6%. Products spared from the price hike so far include iPhones, Apple Watches, and AirPods. The next bag of M&Ms you buy might not contain blue and brown candies. Mars Wrigley says it's producing a version of the classic treat without certain dyes. They're on a list of artificial colors regulators have flagged. The candy maker says the new bags of M&Ms without blue and brown will be available on Amazon later this year. Other M&M products will still contain those original colors. The company adds that it's also working on such changes for Skittles, Starburst, and extra products. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning on McDermott Avenue. All eastbound lanes will be closed from Francis to Dagmar Street. The north and southbound curb lanes on Queenston Street will be closed from Kingsway to Wellington Crescent. And the westbound curb lane on Jefferson Avenue will be closed from McGregor to Parr Street.
Wow, it's a lovely start to your Friday out there. Good amount of sunshine, lovely conditions at 14 degrees, some light winds, barometric pressure on the rise, humidity sitting at 91%. If you liked what we had in store yesterday, you're going to love what Mother Nature is serving up today. Basically a repeat, a carbon copy. Once again, we're starting off with that light cloud coverage, could build throughout the afternoon, and with it comes a light chance of some precipitation and some thunderstorm activity. You can see these little glimmers here. This is where the biggest concentration was yesterday. But yes, it could lend itself to some non-severe, unorganized thunderstorms and rainfall, not only for the Red River Valley, but all throughout the province. Has about a 30% chance of that. So I've indicated here with your graphics, however, it's more likely to be a mix of sun and cloud. But look at these lovely temperatures, 26 degrees in Island Lake in Thompson and Gillam. Chillier, but a good high for you in Churchill at 19 degrees. To the northwest we go. Also, you have that outside chance of rainfall and instability that stands through all of Manitoba, so I might sound like a bit of a broken record. Winds will stay pretty light and temperatures in certain areas above seasonal. Lynn Lake, a balmy 27 degrees, Norway House 26. Southwestern Manitoba, also a hot day ahead. That's a seasonal high for you. That chance of rainfall and thunderstorm activity likely coming in the afternoon. Same goes for us with some light southerly winds at 20 kilometers per hour, lightish I should say. But again, we can't rule out a little bit of thunderstorm activity just like we saw yesterday. I personally was hit in downtown late into the afternoon. Northwestern Ontario, a higher chance of rain and thunderstorms. Temperatures there also in the mid-20s. Overnight, temperatures dipping down to about 16 degrees. We do have that outside chance of more rainfall, but it intensifies into Saturday. A more organized system moves in, bringing a few days of rainfall and maybe some severe thunderstorm activity as well.
Thank you, Catherine. Let's check in now on Bo at Bounce 99.9. Good morning, Bo. Nice shirt.
Yes, well, I was waiting for the happy Friday. I was going to say, even though these guys didn't make it a happy Thursday night, but I'm okay. You know, we're not used to coming home from Princess Auto Stadium after a loss, and that's 2 in a row now this year, so it does hurt. But it's been a bad week for me. In soccer, we had Canada losing, my other team, Germany, losing, and now the Bombers. But there's good news coming. I'm on holidays next week. Oh, yes. So Gabby's off today. I'm off next week to help celebrate Canada Day. So got that to look forward to. Here we are, the last weekend of June. All the big festivals are getting underway, right? At Dawson's got the big country fest. Locally, we've got music and things going on from the Forks to Osborne Village. Of all the festivals, what's your favorite?
Well, I'm taking you back to the winter time now because Festival, of course, being a francophone, it's my favorite festival because it's like a high school reunion and family reunion all at the same time. So I'll have to say that one for sure. But in the summer, I mean, I love so many of them. There's Folklorama. I'm going to Folk Fest in 2 weeks for one day. There's also the Bird Block parties. Do those count as festivals? Because I'm excited to see the beaches on the Friday night. So many good things happening, and that's what makes our summer so special, right? We just get to enjoy so many different things and in all kinds of different parts of Manitoba as well. What about you, Bo?
Yeah, no, Folklorama is probably my favorite, and I know you and I have been on those mystery bus tours before. They're always so much fun.
They are, yeah.
And yeah, like you say, Folk Fest, you're going. That's of course a big one. I like the Icelandic Festival. Any excuse to get to Gimli on the August long weekend. So, but it's basically as long as the weather's nice, every weekend there's something to do here in Manitoba.
Absolutely.
So, looking forward to that, Rochelle. So, you have yourself a great weekend, and Gabby will be back with you here on Monday, and we'll talk to you in July.
Have a great vacation, Bo. A BC man was asked to construct a one-of-a-kind tribute to a uniquely Canadian dish, and he found inspiration in a device invented by Leonardo da Vinci. CTV's Adam Sawatsky reports.
Of all the things Jeremy Gervan had been asked to construct in his career, this was a first.
So they asked me to do a cheese curd flinging device.
Could he conceive of some sort of contraption, the local Francophone Association folks wondered, that could pitch fake cheese curds onto a pile of pretend poutine?
I thought this was pretty hilarious, as Canadian as can be.
It was the kind of question that could only be answered with "we," followed by Jeremy finding inspiration in the catapult invented by Leonardo da Vinci.
Because I'm a woodworker, I really came down to the Da Vinci design that uses 2 wooden springs.
Jeremy captured the whole process on camera, from crafting each component from scratch, assembling them all together, and then making countless refinements to make it propel properly.
The biggest challenge was to be able to have enough force without breaking itself.
The troubleshooting process demanded expertise in math, engineering, and physics before Jeremy considered the possibilities of yoga balls, bananas, and water balloons.
As a problem solver, it was those moments that were super interesting and exciting.
After more than 2 months, almost 400 hours, Jeremy finally debuted his device at the Francophone Festival, showcasing how high-density foam, carved to look like curds, could be catapulted about 30 meters into a poutine dish featuring chainsaw-carved faux fries.
Oh, yes! Glad I did it, and the result was fun.
And like the gravy on poutine, the joy these cheese chuckers expressed was the special sauce that made it all complete.
It was an honor to represent the national dish.
While his catapult is set to be sold as a fundraiser for the Francophone Society, and he suggests it could be repurposed as a mechanized mascot for a poutinerie, or come Halloween, a propeller of pumpkins, Jeremy hopes his contraption's true legacy is more constructive.
And I hope I can inspire people to be creative and pick up tools.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
That's really neat. All right, here's a look outside at McPhillip Street. Things are starting to pick up in this part of the city. As you can see, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with your 7 o'clock headlines. Stay with us. It's Friday, June 26th. Today, looking for answers. What Mounties are saying about an unsolved decades-old cold case. Plus, researching riches. Which province is home to the most billionaire families? And a new edition, how the Winnipeg Police Service is modernizing its bike patrols. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. It's Friday. We're finally here at 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Now, we know that Ebola cases a world away are on the rise, and there's a lot of research happening right here at home to try to figure out a way to either treat it or find a vaccine for it. We have virologist Jason Kindrachuk joining us at 7:52 to give us the latest on some of the counts, the numbers, and what's happening here in Manitoba to help support researchers on the ground in the Congo. But the weather today will be a beautiful day. Enjoy it while you can and get out there.
Well, yes, absolutely, because we've got lots of sunshine on the way, and it could be, to your point, Rochelle, slightly short-lived. Just as we saw yesterday, we're starting off on a sunny, lovely note, little speckle of clouds out there. It's 14 degrees. Winds fairly light this hour out of the southeast at 9 clicks. The barometric pressure is on the rise. The humidity this hour sitting at 91%. So, yes, we've had kind of this outside chance of rain and thunderstorm activity lingering on the horizon for us for the last number of days. And in the days to come, that becomes much more pronounced. I'll have details on that in a moment. But checking out our radar, not a lot to show you other than these little blips here or there. Those are those little flare-ups, those bouts of instability that could be causing a stray thunderstorm or two. But as the day progresses, we do start to see more of a pronounced threat roll in, particularly overnight. So we start off with a little bit of clouds clearer to the north. And as the day progresses, we do fill up and we do see that little smattering, this little instability popping up here or there. So our chance in southern Manitoba for those non-severe thunderstorms comes into the late afternoon alongside some rain. To the northeast as well, those very northeasterly corners could be seeing it around noon as well. As the day progresses, though, we start to see those systems push up to the north, bringing a chance for more rainfall in that neck of the woods while we here deal with pronounced cloud coverage. And then from there, a wide-scale upper trough moving in from the western U.S. is likely to bring many days of potentially convective thunderstorm severe thunderstorms for that matter. So Saturday looks to be a rainy one. There's that system that comes in, and with it, a good amount of rainfall, more pronounced than we've been seeing, and then into Sunday, also sticking around as well. In fact, we're likely not losing the rainfall until mid next week, but then we get a real uptick in our temperatures, a high by Wednesday of 30. Your weather art of the day drawn by 7-year-old Nora. Love the colors on this one. Thanks so much for sending that in. And if you'd like to submit your child's weather art of the day, you can visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, but it's also going to enter you into our monthly contest, for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle at the Kenniston and Regent locations.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle. Spend quality time with loved ones and paint memories together.
Mounties are asking for the public's help to solve a 38-year-old cold case involving a Pungasi First Nation teenager. RCMP say 15-year-old Betsy Owens went missing in 1988 after going to a school dance. Her body has never been found, and police say she is presumed dead. They believe as time goes on, more people may be willing to talk. And Mounties say someone's already come forward for the first time. CTV's Jeff Keel reports.
38 years ago, 15-year-old Betsy Rosa Owens went missing and was never found. Now, Mounties are asking for help.
We do believe that there are key people in that community that know a lot more information that can help us solve this case.
RCMP say in 1988, Betsy went to a school dance in Pungasi First Nation. Witnesses saw her leaving the dance against her will, then taken to a home and never seen again. Police say they believe she was murdered. Her body has never been located.
The main question today is, what happened?
In an effort to push people to come forward, Mounties made this video with family and community members looking for answers and seeking closure.
I just want to say to the people of Pungasi, all I want is my sister to come rest beside family.
You always talk about this. Nobody forgets. Nobody will ever forget.
Investigators have been traveling to the First Nation often. They feel people are more willing to talk now that time has passed.
This has bugged them for a long, long time, and they feel it's the right thing to do. We've had a couple of people that have never spoken to anyone before, and now they're coming forward.
And they feel the person or persons responsible for Betsy's disappearance and death were from the community of 700.
There were arrests back then in the 90s, not enough to proceed with charges.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A tip line has been set up. Anyone with information is asked to call the Manitoba RCMP Historical Case Unit tip line at 204-984-5604. The Air Force Base in Winnipeg is expanding, and Winnipeg's mayor hopes it will be a boon for the city's construction sector.
When Department of National Defense puts out a contract, not just anybody can bid. You've got to be qualified.
Getting Winnipeg companies ready to bid on 17 Wings expansion is why a panel was held Thursday featuring Mayor Scott Gillingham, the base commander, and the Winnipeg Construction Association. It's providing information on the specific requirements to enter the national defense procurement process, which includes things like security clearances. The first phase of the expansion will be a national defense substation.
The substation will be the power requirements for us to be able to bring in the new projects, for example, future aircrew training program, the future kayak capability, these projects that have been announced and funded.
17 Wing is currently in the planning phase of the expansion and building new space to accommodate further projects over the next 5 to 20 years. The expansion is expected to support as many as 1,400 jobs. A new report finds Ontario has more high net worth families than any other province in Canada, with 44% of the country's billionaire families based in the province. Researchers from Canadians for Tax Fairness, a nonprofit, nonpartisan group, finds Ontario leads the country in extreme wealth with 38 billionaire families. The report says Ontario's top 0.01% of families hold an average wealth of $546 million. British Columbia ranks second at $501 million, followed by Quebec at $408 million and Alberta at $393 million. Some terrifying moments for a pilot and passengers when a small plane was forced to make an emergency landing in the Alaskan wilderness. This video shows the dramatic moment when the plane touches down. The pilot says the aircraft suffered engine troubles. 9 passengers and the pilot all walked away without any injuries. The Winnipeg Police Service is modernizing its bike patrol. 16 new e-bikes have been added to the service's bicycle fleet. They will be deployed across all 4 districts for use in combination with the mountain bikes traditionally used by the patrol. Members say the new bikes allow them to reach a scene faster.
I've been on the regular mountain bikes when there's a call maybe a few blocks away, and by the time you get there, you're huffing and puffing and out of gas. With the e-bike, that allows you to kind of maintain yourself a little bit more and be able to react to the situation once we arrive on scene.
The bike patrol allows officers to access locations with a lot of foot traffic that are difficult to reach by traditional police cruisers like parks and trails. The added mobility of bikes and now e-bikes means they also have an easier time attending special events. 25 officers have completed the specialized bicycle patrol training. The patrol operates between May and October. The downtown Winnipeg Farmers Market is back, and it's looking a little different this year. Vendors lined Graham Avenue Thursday, selling homemade crafts, baked goods, and much more. The market traditionally set up behind the Manitoba Hydro Building, but shifted this year because Graham is no longer a bus route. You can find the market every other Thursday between 10 and 2. Its next return is on July the 9th. Here's a look at what's happening now on Osborne Street. Traffic volume still quite light starting off this Friday morning. If you have any traffic tips to share, please send us a text at 10400.
Stock futures were down Friday as a tech sell-off deepens, with chip makers leading the declines. Both the Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 futures were off. Recent volatility in stocks linked to artificial intelligence amounts to some profit-taking from investors rather than a fundamental break, UniCredit says. We view this as a temporary correction within a still intact long-term AI growth trend. Now, OpenAI is leaning toward holding off on an initial public offering until 2027. That's from the New York Times, citing 3 people involved in the deliberations. Bankers advising the ChatGPT maker on its IPO plans caution that recent volatility, as well as SpaceX shares being volatile too following its record IPO, could dampen enthusiasm from retail investors for OpenAI's offering, the newspaper reported. A Scandinavian home goods brand is landing in Canada, and if it picks up enough momentum, retail experts say competitors will have reason to worry. But the competition for Flying Tiger isn't IKEA, it's Dollarama and Giant Tiger. Many products like dish towels and fruit motifs and animal-shaped erasers, jewelry boxes resembling fancy sofas go for $10 or less. Canada will become the 45th market when the brand opened its first store in Toronto today. Those are your morning business headlines. For B&M Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Let's go back now to Tandy Vera, who's hanging out at Birds Hill Park doing some camping this morning. Hi, Tandy.
Hi, Rochelle. Good morning. It's such a beautiful morning. We're camped out here right now. I'm in this beautiful camping chair that's pretty comfortable and actually very, very lightweight, enjoying the beautiful weather, which is perfect for camping and camping season. So if you're thinking about camping this season, we have some experts who are lined up who are going to give us some tips and some tricks. We also have Manitoba Parks visiting us today to chat about what you can expect for the rest of the summer, as well as a conservation officer to talk about wildlife safety, because as much as I love camping, I don't love the idea of being trapped with a bear. So we're going to learn best about how to protect yourself, how best to protect yourself, as we mentioned before, with mosquito repellents. There's some bugs out right now. In fact, my eyes are watering a bit because of the bugs, but we have more lined up for you, so don't go anywhere.
Okay, thank you, Tandy. She looks so comfortable out there. It's such a beautiful morning.
It looks like she's enjoying that sunshine. It looks rather serene out there at that campground. Almost makes me want to go camping. Not quite. No, I'm just kidding. Camping is a lot of fun, especially when the weather's on your side. This weekend, though, it might not be. Good chance it will not be. Currently, though, it's pleasant, 16 degrees. It's kind of a misnomer for what's to come. A couple clouds out there, winds out of the southeast. Barometric pressure is rising, humidity sitting at 84%. So yes, kind of a repeat, a wash and repeat situation to what we had yesterday. Much of the province will deal with a mix of sun and cloud, particularly building cloud into the afternoon. and then a risk of rainfall and thunderstorm activity into those afternoon hours. If it'll come at all, it will be non-severe. It will be pretty scattered, won't amount to much of an accumulation in terms of that moisture. Temperatures also at seasonal. For us here in Winnipeg, that's 25 degrees. Winds will be pretty light out of the south at 20 kilometers per hour. This is the same case for the north as well. However, overnight, that's when a large-scale upper trough pushes in, brewing in the western U.S., and it's likely to bring a couple of days of potentially severe convective activities. We don't have the contours of it just yet, but it is looking like at the very least it's going to be a wet weekend and a couple days after that.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
It's time now for our question of the day. Tandy Vera's at the Birds Hill Park Campground, as you saw this morning, and we want to know from you, what's the best and the worst thing about camping? You can text your answer to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response, and don't forget to include your name, please.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic, science-backed body contouring.
At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, whether they're furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want more. Whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals, please send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to Pet of the Week at CTV.ca, and then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. All right, we're going to take a quick break over here. We're going to see you right after this. Welcome back. A local organization is mobilizing help for Venezuela so aid can be provided following a pair of devastating and deadly earthquakes. Officials say at least 188 people have been killed, more than 200 are trapped, and many more are feared dead. The first 7.2 magnitude earthquake struck west of Morone on the Caribbean coast, about 170 kilometers west of Caracas. And just a minute later, the U.S. Geological Survey recorded a second 7.5 magnitude earthquake southwest of the area. Now, Canadian Lutheran World Relief has launched an emergency appeal to support affected families with critical needs, including providing emergency shelter kits, basic hygiene supplies, and clean water. The organization says through its partners at the Lutheran World Federation, it already has roots on the ground in the region.
We've been present there for many years, and in fact, the experience that they're now going through, this is something that they experience very directly. Many of these staff slept outside last night, we've been told. So they're affected by the impacts of this earthquake very directly, very personally. The communities that they're partnering with are in fact their neighbors, and they're working with them together to jointly find a way to respond and support people that are most acutely impacted by this.
More information on how to get involved in aid efforts can be found at clwr.org/Venezuela. Officials in Northwest Territories say 3 people are dead after a plane crashed fighting wildfires. The Bird Dog aircraft went down near Fort Simpson, west of Yellowknife, on Wednesday evening. Fire officials say they've been to the crash site to confirm the deaths, and there are no survivors. They are now working to recover their bodies. Summer showers didn't dampen spirits Thursday evening at Princess Auto Stadium, but by the end of the night, the scoreboard wasn't exactly prompting many smiles.
Number 1 overall pick with the recovery. Here we go, and a shot for the end zone right away from the 30 and nearly for Seaton.
The Bombers squared up against the Edmonton Elks as the guys in green look to improve their 3-0 record. Despite letting a 17-point lead slip away, the Elks took this match, Edmonton 23, Winnipeg 18. The Bombers now hit the road for a Sunday game on July the 5th against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It's slated to start at 6 p.m. Winnipeg time. Here's a look at traffic now along Donald Street. Things are slowly picking up in this part of the city, as you can see, but so far things are moving well. We have no issues to tell you about at this point in the drive.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
In entertainment, Disney Plus and Hulu have released the trailer for the second coming of the King of the Hill reboot.
Like I always say, never leave home without your welder's kit.
He does always say that, but I still often forget.
Spoiler alert, Bobby and Connie are officially a couple as Hank and Peggy continue to settle into retirement life in Arlen, Texas. The series returned for its 14th season last year after a 15-year hiatus. Season 15 debuts on July 20th. We now know who will hit the stage at the 2026 Canadian Country Music Awards in Saskatoon.
I believe
Brody, who is set to release his 10th studio album called The 10th Album, will hit the stage along with Saskatchewan's own Hunter Brothers, Kelsey Kulik, and Jess Moskaluk. The James Barker Band, Reclaws, and Owen Rigling will also perform. The CCMAs are happening at SaskTel Centre in Saskatoon on September the 19th. They'll air exclusively on CTV and Crave. An update now on the search for a new James Bond. A report says producers are getting closer to a final decision.
Name? Bond. James Bond.
Daniel Craig stepped down from the role after 2021's No Time to Die. Last year, Canada's own Denis Villeneuve was revealed as the director of the next film in the spy franchise. Sources tell Deadline the Bond team is now letting actors know if they made it to the next round of auditions in August. They're reportedly looking for someone fitting the prototype of Jacob Elordi, Harris Dickinson, or Callum Turner. But there are no specific names in the running. Amazon MGM hasn't commented. Your Friday primetime lineup starts with a true crime documentary series called Spring Break Murders at 7. Crime Scene Investigators comes next at 8, and Boston Blue wraps things up at 9 o'clock. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution.
For the record, my vote is for Jacob Elordi. I'm sure producers are watching, and I'm sure my vote counts for lots, but I'm a fan. All right, I'm also a fan of what Mother Nature is showing us this morning. It's gorgeous out there. 16 degrees, good amount of sunshine, very few clouds. Winds are light out of the southeast. Pressure's on the rise, humidity sitting at 84%. So yes, another day of potentially wild, unpredictable weather that can kind of come out of nowhere. That's because we've had this lingering instability for the last many days, but with it, some decent temperatures. Going to scoot so everyone can see. Over in northwestern Ontario will start 16 degrees, as is the case here in Winnipeg, as we showed you. Gimli in that boat as well. Morden, Winkler, Portage, Brandon, 13 and 15 degrees there respectively. Dauphin and Fisher Branch at 14 degrees. Up north, it is a pretty decent start to your Friday. 16 in Island Lake, 13 in Lynn Lake, 14 in the Pas. Up to Churchill at 8 degrees this hour, one of your warmest starts of the week. Come on. There we go. There we go. All right. So in terms of our conditions, not a lot to show you on our radar because we've had these kind of very unstable air masses here and there that spout up some stray thunderstorms or rainfall. We saw that yesterday. We had a quick little rainstorm in downtown late afternoon, but it was gone within a couple minutes. That's sort of the case here. You can see these little flare-ups, if you will, these little spatterings of instability coming to parts of the province. So it's hard to say if we will absolutely be getting rain or thunderstorms. We have about a 30% chance by Environment Canada's estimation. That doesn't come till the late afternoon. We start off clear though. 19 as kids head on one of the last days of school. 23 under a mix of sun and cloud as they take lunch, and then that instability rolls in by the time it's time to go home. From there, that's our high as well. 25 degrees with southeasterly winds at 20 kilometers per hour. Overnight, an outside chance of rain and thunderstorms, but it intensifies into the weekend. A large-scale upper trough that's moving in from the U.S., bringing a prolonged period of rain and maybe some thunderstorm activity in there as well. So you're going to want to keep the rain gear at arm's length because it's going to be needed. Your Skywatch picture of the day, Winnipeg our Skywatch picture of the day coming from David in Grand Rapids. Just a lovely shot there of the skies and that calm lake. Thanks for sending that in. And keep your weather pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
June 26, 1976. The CN Tower was officially opened in Toronto. At 555 meters, it was at the time the world's tallest self-supporting structure. The tower was built to solve problems which had plagued the transmission of radio and television signals in much of southern Ontario. Construction took just over 3 years. June 26, 1990. The final report of the Dublin Royal Commission on Drugs in Sport recommended that Canadian athletes exposed as users of banned drugs be denied federal funding. The inquiry was launched after the 1988 Ben Johnson Olympic steroid scandal. Johnson was stripped of his gold medal in the 100-meter event when he tested positive for a banned substance. June 26, 2000. One of history's most significant scientific breakthroughs came as researchers in 6 countries announced they had completed the working map of the human genetic code. It is hoped the human genome will eventually lead to cures for diseases such as cancer, diabetes, and Alzheimer's.
Time now for this week's Adorable Adoptables. We begin with Cece. At 5 years old, Cece knows everything you need to know about being the goodest girl. She's gentle and kind and very calm when meeting new people. She loves treats, long walks, and you'll know she's really happy when her helicopter tail gets going. Next up is Icy. This pint-sized wonder can be a bit more cat than dog. At 2 years old, she needs a quiet home with people who want to earn her trust. A true couch dog, Icy loves to lounge and get belly rubs. And meet Fennel. This 1 year old mom spent her time in care patiently raising her kittens, and now she's ready for a home where she can finally be spoiled herself. She's easygoing, affectionate, and enjoys playing and staying close to the people she loves. If you think you can offer any of these animals a good home, just head down to the Winnipeg Humane Society or give them a call. The number's there on your screen. This little kid has the perfect name.
They named this little guy Messi, so that's why he has the Argentinian jersey on right now.
As Argentina makes Kansas City their base camp for the World Cup, a local goat has been named after Lionel Messi. Of course, many people think Messi is the greatest of all time, the GOAT, so you can sort the rest out from here. The Winnipeg Folk Festival is on the horizon, and we have a contest for you. Father John Misty will take the main stage on Thursday, July the 9th. This week, we will be giving away a pair of tickets for the opening night of the festival. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca, and don't forget to enter the keyword world. Good luck. Coming up, we're live at Birds Hill Park this morning with our Tandy Vera. She's learning all about camping and some of the cool gadgets for the season. Stay with us. Let's go back now to Tandy Vera. Every time at this year, I'm always excited to find out about some of the newer camping gadgets. Tandy, you're going to tell us about some of those. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. Good morning, Manitoba. Yes, we're going to talk all camping, gadgets especially, but one big thing is food. And I'm joined again by Crystal. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, talking about food, it can be stressful to kind of think about food whilst you're camping, but you have some alternatives here. Chat us through that.
Yeah, so there's some great options. Ready-made meals have come a long way. We've got everything from breakfast to dessert. There's tons of different flavors and meals, vegetarian options too, and all you do is just add boiling hot water and let it sit for like 10 minutes and your meal's ready to go.
And it's also very, very tasty, the wind's getting. It's very tasty too, right?
For sure. They're actually really delicious. Lots of great options.
And lots of nutrients.
Yes, and high in protein, which is something that you'll need when you're camping and on the water.
That's perfect. And let's talk about the tent. Now, you were setting it up in the background this morning with us. Chat to us about what type of tent this is and what people can expect with it.
So that's the Nemo Aurora tent. It's a 6-person tent. It's great for, a family of 4 because you've got lots of room. It has 2 doors, so easy to get in and out. It's got 2 vestibules, so kids can keep their dirty stuff on one side and parents can keep their stuff on the other. It's got a big screened top, so you can watch the stars at night. It's a great tent.
Very, very nice, very snazzy. And another thing about today as well is it's World Canoe Day.
Yes.
And camping and canoeing, such a big thing that ties in. Chat a bit more about what the store has to offer.
Yeah, so we have a great rental program. We have cargo boxes, but most importantly, we rent canoes, kayaks, and paddle boards. So if you're just unsure, you can always just take it out for a day or a weekend and just try it out and see what you think.
And where can we find you?
So Wilderness Supply is located at 50 Isabel Street. We're on the corner of Notre Dame and Isabel.
That's perfect. And my last question, I'm asking all the guests this because it's camping season. What's your favorite camping activity?
Well, I love bringing a paddleboard because I really enjoy paddleboarding, but I also just love sitting around a fire and just listening to good acoustic guitar and just being with your friends and your family.
Much agreed. Thank you so much for joining us, Crystal. It's been a great morning. Yeah, we have more lined up.
All right, thank you, Tandy. And it does look like a perfect day for camping, but not tomorrow.
No, I wanted to say my favorite camping snack, when you slice open the banana and you put chocolate chips or peanut butter in it and put it over the campfire.
Oh, I've never
done. Oh, it's good.
Now I want to try that.
It's a good one, Rochelle.
Yes. You put it on a stick?
Yeah. From what you've covered in tinfoil as well. Yeah, I learned that at camp in my camping days. It's about the only thing I learned because I was is terrible at camping. Currently it's 16 degrees out there. It's just lovely. Speckling of clouds, southeasterly winds at 13 kilometers per hour, pressure rising, humidity sitting at 84%. So yes, if you're getting out to enjoy the great outdoors, today is the day to enjoy them, because the weekend, not so great, especially if you don't like dodging raindrops and maybe some thunderstorms. In fact, in that case, it can be a safety issue. Right now, though, as you can see, we're decently clear, but you see these little flecks here and there of little disturbances popping up. This represents a low chance, but a chance nonetheless of some rainfall and thunderstorm activity. Once again, my clicker, there we go. 25 degrees is what we're looking at for our high today. That is bang on what's seasonal. Those winds will be ramping up out of the south at 20 kilometers per hour. And there's that outside chance of rain and thunderstorms. We got a little bit of that activity flaring up yesterday, but it's never for long and it's never terribly pronounced. In fact, the rain gauge on the roof didn't register anything at all. Into tonight, our winds staying decently strong. There we go. Out of the southeast at 20 kilometers per hour. Temperatures dipping down to 16 under partly cloudy sky, 30% chance of rain and thunderstorms again. But that really increases into tomorrow. We have a large-scale upper trough coming in from the western U.S., bringing a good chance of some severe thunderstorm activity tomorrow. 24 degrees with those strong southeasterly winds, that 60% chance of rain and thunderstorms. That same trough likely to bring rain for many days to come, as you can see, not breaking until Wednesday, and with it a substantial warm-up, 30 degrees under those clear sunny skies.
MPI is opening a second hail response center following an influx of storm claims. The Crown Corporation says the June 9th storm resulted in 25,000 claims, the largest number it's ever received from a single weather event. The new center, which is located at its Main Street Service Center in Winnipeg, will offer damage assessment appointments for those in the city and surrounding areas. After opening a claim, customers will be contacted with information about how to book at one of the hail response centers. Across the two locations, MPI will now be able to offer 400 daily appointments. MPI is also completing initial damage assessments at its Arburg Service Center due to the more than 200 claims opened in the Interlake region. The initial claim center at its Gateway location opened last week and has already completed 1,800 assessments. Some Manitobans are still dealing with the fallout from that destructive storm system that rolled through the province on June the 9th. And a group of scientists and engineers are in town this week to not only study those storms, but share how Manitobans can better prepare for these types of weather events in the future.
Those were supercells, so they were really, really significant thunderstorm events. They spun off some tornadoes, a hailstone from a resident that was 8 centimeters. So these are really large hailstones.
Gregory Kopp and his team from Western University's Canadian Severe Storms Lab study summer events, weather events across Canada, focusing on tornadoes, damaging winds, large hail, and flash flooding. The lab uses the data to learn how to build tougher infrastructure by using materials like hurricane straps along with impact-resistant shingles and siding.
We can look at things that help protect houses from tornadoes and keep them intact, to backwater valves that keeps water out of your basement when there's a massive thunderstorm.
Bob says proactive measures don't just make houses safer, they help reduce losses and subsequent insurance payouts caused by severe weather. Opinions are divided on 24 Sussex Drive ahead of an announcement about its future today.
Keep the historic house. 24 Sussex, because it was a place where many important things happened.
Perhaps it's better to take it down and rebuild.
We'll learn more about plans for the residents when Prime Minister Mark Carney holds a news conference today. Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau chose to live at Rideau Cottage when he came into office in 2015. That's also where Prime Minister Carney and his family live right now. Problems with 24 Sussex include rodents, old heating and electrical systems, and asbestos. The NCC says it would cost $36.6 million to restore. A man has died after falling off an escalator at a mall in Toronto. Police say this happened at around 5 p.m. at the Ryokan Empress Walk in North York. This is one of the longest escalators in the city, connecting the ground floor to a theater at the top of the mall. According to police, the man who fell is not a worker. The Ministry of Labour has been called in to investigate. The ministry is in charge of incidents involving escalators. Ryokan has not commented, saying it remains an active police investigation. Just 6 months after it came into effect, Australia will review its teen social media ban.
What we want to do is to make sure that the laws are as strong as possible and that they will withstand any legal challenges which are made.
A new study has found the ban isn't working as well as they had hoped. It's meant to keep children under 16 off of social media, but 85% of Australian teens between the ages of 12 to 15 are still accessing social media. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the government will stress test the law to try and crack down on teen social media use. The e-safety commissioner says they are preparing legal action against platforms like Meta and fines of up to 49 million Australian dollars. That's about $47 million Canadian if they fail to uphold the law. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning on McDermott Avenue. All eastbound lanes will be closed from Francis to Dagmar Street. The north and southbound curb lanes on Queenston Street will be closed from Kingsway to Wellington Crescent, and the westbound curb lane on Jefferson Avenue will be closed from McGregor to Parr Street. Let's look now at your gas prices. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.60. It's a small drop from yesterday's amount. The lowest price in the city is $1.44, found at Canco on Isabel Street, and 204 Fuels on Salter Street. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Looking outside right now, it is a gorgeous start to your Friday. It's sunny. It's 16 degrees. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
Starting off our Friday on a golden note, 16 degrees, clear and lovely. Winds are out of the southeast this hour at 13 kilometers per hour. Barometric pressure rising. Humidity sits at 84%. Another day, another chance of rain or thunderstorm activity lingering for us. We've had that instability kind of lurking for the last couple of days. It gives way to a rogue rainfall or thunderstorm bout for a few moments. Never anything terribly severe. However, that's likely to change this weekend. Right now, though, taking a look at our radar, you can see a couple glimmers there of those little systems popping up. Not organized, not amounting to much accumulation. However, it does have that light chance of popping up all throughout the province, not just here in Winnipeg and the Red River Valley. Certainly for the northeast, there's that stray chance, but the temperature is very nice, above seasonal in most cases. 26 degrees all across the board here, except for Churchill at 19. Over to the northwest, very similar conditions in certain areas, touch cooler, if that's even a word to use when temperatures are this lovely. A mix of sun and cloud, likely with more cloud into the afternoon. As we saw on our radar, you're really clear to kick off the day. And yes, that lingering threat of a little bit of rainfall and convection. Southwestern Manitoba, much the same. Mix of sun and cloud throughout the day. That chance for you for instability comes into the late afternoon. Likely you'll be staying dry. Highs in the 25-degree mark. Similar for us here in the South Central region, in and around the Red River Valley. Strong-ish southerly winds getting as strong as 20 kilometers per hour. Temperatures at 25 degrees. Our chance of rain and thunderstorms comes into the late afternoon, if we get it at all. And northwestern Ontario, also a mix of sun and cloud and that light chance of rain. Temperatures there lovely at 25 degrees in Kenora. Overnight, could still get a little bit of rainfall. Likely we're staying dry. Temperatures dipping down to 16. But then I talked about a more severe threat. We're seeing a large-scale upper trough moving in, bringing a couple days at least of rainfall and potentially some severe convection likely into tomorrow. But the modeling will take shape a little later on.
Thank you. Let's go now to Tandy, who is live at Birds Hill Park this morning, telling us all about camping. And now we're going to get some tips on how to be safe in our campsite from animals and all kinds of other pests. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle, and good morning, Manitoba. And yes, wildlife play a big part in the camping experience. And right now I'm joined by Ryan. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, what kind of animals are people most likely to encounter when they're camping?
So in Birds Hill Park here, we have just a variety of birds. So we have songbirds all over around us this morning. A lot of waterfowl in the little ponds around the park and in the beach area. Squirrels, there's a few running around. One's right behind us right now. And then white-tailed deer, some pine marten, small mammals like that. And then the odd coyote. Every once in a while, there's a bear sighting in the park as well.
And if someone, runs into a bear, for example, or different wild animal, what tips would you give them for that?
Well, the first thing is just announce yourself. A lot of times you inadvertently encounter an animal or it accidentally encounters you. Just make a little bit of noise, announce your presence. If they don't scare away, get a little bit louder, wave your arms, and most of the time that will mitigate the interaction.
And moving to campfire safety, because that plays such a big role, especially with the summer we had last summer. What advice and what tips would you give for people to remember back home?
Well, the first thing is to check the Manitoba Wildfire Program website for any active burn bans or restrictions that are on. Then while you're having your fire, make sure it's in an enclosed pit, so 4 sides and a bottom that it can't escape. And then once you're done having your campfire, put lots of water on it. Make sure it's out, stir up the coals, hold your hand over it to make sure it's cooled off, and then while it's burning as well, just leave it, make sure somebody is watching it all the time, and don't leave it unattended.
And what advice, what warning would you give to people just watching, our audience, our viewers, who want to go out camping this weekend, next weekend, and to come? What's one tip that you don't want people to forget?
Well, just keep an eye on things, watch CTV news, and make sure that you're aware of what the weather is going to be and prepare for it. I believe there's a little bit of rain forecast this weekend, so make note of that. And that's just one of the biggest things, is just prepared for what you might encounter.
That's so true, and that's so important, to be prepped all the time. And lastly, I've been asking all our guests this: what's your favorite camping activity?
Oh, ever since I was a kid, I've always liked canoeing and kayaking, so it's definitely still one of my favorites.
That's so great. And it's World Canoeing Day, so perfect day to do that today. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Ryan. We have more lined up with Manitoba Parks later on during the show.
Thank you, Tandy. Rescuers in and around Caracas are working frantically to find survivors after 2 powerful earthquakes struck near the Venezuelan capital Wednesday. At least 235 people are dead and 4,300 people are injured. There are fears those numbers could rise. The first earthquake was a 7.2. It struck around 6 p.m. Wednesday. That was followed by a 7.5 magnitude 39 seconds later. Both happened close to the Earth's surface, making destruction more severe. President Delcy Rodriguez has declared a state of emergency and appointed a general to oversee the response.
Working with our partners directly, and we will scale things as appropriate to move forward.
Canada is providing $5 million in humanitarian assistance to support relief efforts in Venezuela. Global Affairs also says it's not aware of any Canadian citizens affected by the earthquakes, but adds there's currently 740 Canadians registered as being in Venezuela. Canada does not have an embassy in Venezuela, which could make it more challenging to assist Canadians. 3 Brazilian sisters with a combined age of 316 years old have scientists now asking what's their secret. This trio of sisters was named as the oldest living trio of siblings in the world by Guinness this month. And now a study from the University of Sao Paulo is looking to investigate the biological factors behind aging. Findings from the 3 sisters' case could help scientists better understand why some people remain physically and cognitively resilient at exceptionally advanced ages. These sisters are 103, 104, and 109 years old. Those are major milestones. Let's see who's celebrating another milestone today. Happy retirement to Mrs. Davy on her last day of school from everyone at Rest Rock Colony School. Happy 6th birthday, Sienna, from Mom, Nana, and Zeta. Happy graduation and 18th birthday, Lexi. Love your family and your friends. Happy 7th birthday to Preston from your Coco, Debbie, and Chris and your cousins. Happy 19th birthday, Spencer. Love Mom, Dad, Ella, Paris, Sydney, Nanny, Gizmo, and Finn. Happy 6th birthday, Kaylee. Love Mom, Dad, and Brayden. Happy 38th birthday, Robert. Love from Mom, Melissa, Johnny, and Bo. Happy graduation to son and brother Errol. Love Mom, Dad, and Amberlynn. Congratulations, Sophie, on your graduation from J.H. Bruns Collegiate. Love Auntie Sue and Aaron. Happy 22nd anniversary, Bonnie and Tom. Love from Mom, Maya, Alexander, Dad, and all the animals. Congratulations, Adam, on your grade 12 graduation. Love from all your family in Pinemutang. Happy 8th birthday, Altea. Love Mama, Papa, Kuya, and Ate. And a happy 90th birthday to Albina. Love from all the people that call you Mom, Grandma, and Great-Grandma. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
It is going to be a lovely warm day ahead, a stunner if you will. 25 degrees today, just bang on par with the average high. Last year we did one better, but well off that record set all the way back in 1890. 36.1 sounds pretty unpleasant to me, while this is perfect. 16 degrees currently, couple clouds here or there. Lightish winds cooling me down out of the southeast at 13 kilometers per hour. Pressure is rising, humidity sitting at 84%. So if you enjoyed what we had yesterday, we're going to just enjoy what we got today as well. Mother Nature kind of serving up a carbon copy. That means a mix of sun and cloud, temperatures peaking all throughout Manitoba in the mid-20s, and that outside chance of rain or thunderstorms. Rogue, if you will, not organized, not substantial, but we always have that chance, especially when it gets warm, that instability kind of lingers. But it really does intensify overnight as well. We're uniform with our forecast today with north and south. We diverge overnight. That's because a broad area of instability moves into southern Manitoba, bringing a long-term system that could bring rainfall, thunderstorm activity tomorrow. That could last well into Tuesday, while the north, you're sitting pretty with lots of sunshine and above seasonal temperatures.
Ebola cases continue to rise in the Democratic Republic of Congo. As of Wednesday, health officials confirmed that 1,094 cases of Ebola, including 277 confirmed cases. This strain of Ebola is rare, and there are no vaccines or treatments at this time. Now, a Manitoba virologist's lab and team of researchers are involved on the ground in the Congo, and joining us now is virologist and U of M associate professor at the Max Rady College of Medicine, Jason Kindrachuk. Now, just want to clarify, the 277 are confirmed deaths.
Those are confirmed at this point,
right.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the Congo and how this strain is different from what you've seen before.
So it's a very complex situation, right? What we've seen, and this is the 17th outbreak for Ebola in the DRC. We had one in the fall time. That was the Ebola virus Zaire that we normally hear about. It's what we happen in West Africa. We have good vaccine coverage on that. We have great diagnostics. We had local teams out there within probably 24 hours, and we were able to get that contained quickly. This particular species, which is Bundubujo virus, a little bit different. So the current vaccines and therapeutics that we have for Ebola, unfortunately, we don't know if they work or not. The other piece is that it's in a very isolated area of DRC, very difficult to get to. And the unfortunate piece is that we were behind the 8 ball when we found out about the cases. Instead of being 1 or 2, we had over 200. So right now, we're at a point of just trying to get this thing contained and trying to ensure that there's good diagnostic support on the ground.
Let's back it up a little bit. What is Ebola and what makes it so deadly and dangerous?
Yeah, Ebola it's a virus, right? It's not that far removed from other viruses we see, like influenza, other things in terms of the kind of the genomic makeup. It's carried, we think, largely in bats and gets into other animals that are hunted for food. People can unfortunately get in contact with those, get sick, and then they can pass it on to people that are providing close care to those individuals. So the reality for us, high case fatality rate makes people very, very sick. This particular species probably around 25% in terms of the number of cases that will die when we see people getting infected. The unfortunate piece, though, is that people still get very sick. So even though a little bit lower than that kind of 40 to 60% we normally see with Ebola virus Zaire, people do need close hospital care to recover.
And how is it spreading?
Mostly close contact, right? And the unfortunate piece is this particular virus really preys on kind of our compassion for individuals. So people that provide close care, nurses, doctors, family members, those are the people that unfortunately are in the greatest line of risk of getting infected.
Okay, so the team, you do have a team in the Congo right now. What are they doing on the ground?
Yeah, so we work closely with the National Institute of Biomedical Research in DRC. They're based out of Kinshasa. We've had teams in Ituri province basically since we were notified about cases. Right now, it's been trying to get diagnostic support out to those individuals. We've been validating diagnostics, trying to identify whether or not current vaccines that are available actually provide cross protection, and then of course going out and talking to communities, trying to get people comfortable with the idea of coming forward and reporting if they're sick or a family member is sick.
Okay, and there's a lot of distrust in that area when it comes to government officials, which isn't helpful either. Let's talk about what's happening here on the ground in Manitoba and how it's helping over there.
So one of the very unique things about Winnipeg is we had a vaccine that was developed out of the National Microbiology Laboratory laboratory for Ebola. That one was licensed, was trialed in West Africa. It's what we deploy normally for Ebola virus Zaire. We don't know if it provides cross protection against this particular species of Ebola. Right now, what we're doing, we had a 5-year study looking at people's immune responses to that vaccine. We're working right now to see whether or not there is cross protection. So we've been working night and day trying to go through 5 years of data to get that out as quick as possible to stakeholders, public health officials. I think we're getting some better indications of what that looks like, but we still have a little bit of a ways to go. So right now, our biggest concern is, can we get enough containment on this virus to try and get the outbreak ultimately at least controlled in some way?
Okay, well, you'll have to keep us posted and come back and let us know how it's going. Thank you, Jason, for sharing this with us. And again, you'll have to come back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Mark Rowe inside the SportsCenter newsroom with your must-see moment from Thursday forward. We go to the LPGA opening round of the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, and check out the shot by Amanda Doherty. Her tee shot from 17 doesn't get any better than that. A hole-in-one, a perfect shot for the ace. She would finish the day at even par. More importantly, she earns your must-see moment from Thursday. And today we've got more from the FIFA World Cup. Norway takes on France, as well as Senegal taking on Iraq. It all starts at 2:45 p.m. Eastern across the TSN network. That's all from the SportsCenter newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN must-see moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Friday, June 26th. The call to come forward. Why Mounties have just activated a tip line as they probe the disappearance of a teen nearly 4 decades ago. A year since fresh air pedestrian crossings returned to Portage and Main, it's still not clear what will happen to businesses in the underground concourse. And Winnipeg police bikes score a power-up, helping them better keep up with people and events off the beaten path. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. It is Friday. It's 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, Catherine, a little earlier in our milestones, we missed a photo for happy birthday, 90th birthday to Albina. Love from all the people who call you mom, grandma, and great-grandma. Happy birthday, Albina. You look great.
Milestone birthday.
Absolutely.
Exciting.
And it's going to be kind of a milestone day for weather as well, because it's sort of it starts beautiful, but then you never know how the day is going to end.
Yeah, we've kind of got these rogue disturbances that have been popping up. It's calm, it's lovely, and then all of a sudden, snap, there's a thunderstorm that doesn't last too long. And that's kind of sticking around through today before Mother Nature gets organized, if you will, and serves us up a sure shot of some precipitation. Details on that in a moment. Right now, though, look how lovely outside. 16 degrees, sunny, clear, light southeasterly winds at 13 kilometers per hour. Pressure on the rise. Humidity sitting at 84%. Not a lot to show you on our radar. As mentioned, we do still have that outside chance of some stray thunderstorms or some rainfall. You can see little glimmers, little disturbances pop up here or there on our radar. However, a much surer shot of some precipitation is coming into the weekend. So our futurecast gives us a better sense. We start off on a pretty clear note, and as the day progresses, we do start to see these little disturbances creep up from the international border. And the whole province basically has an outside chance, about 30% by Environment and Climate Change Canada's forecast, of seeing some raindrops and again maybe a little bit of convection out there, but nothing substantial. But that all changes overnight tonight. As I move out of the way, you start to see something a lot more severe and organized creep up there. This is a large-scale upper trough. It brewed over the western U.S. and it's starting to move into our neck of the woods, bringing many days of potentially severe convection, so severe thunderstorm activity. I don't really need to illustrate it much because our futurecast is doing a good job. Rainfall, thunderstorms possible tomorrow, and at least rainfall into the next couple of days as that system does start to peel off onto Sunday, but the tail end brings more rainfall in the start of next work week. But look at that on the other end, beautiful sunshine and above seasonal highs. Here's weather art of the day. This one drawn by 7-year-old Nora. Perfect because, as Rochelle pointed out, Tandy's learning all about camping season, and Nora put pen to paper and made a beautiful art of that. Thanks so much for submitting it. If you'd like to submit your child's weather art of the day, simply visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, and it's also going to enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle at the Kenaston and Regent locations.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle. Spend quality time with loved ones and paint memories together.
Mounties are asking for the public's help to solve a 38-year-old cold case involving a Pungazi First Nation teenager. RCMP say 15-year-old Betsy Owens went missing after going to a school dance.
I just want to say to the people of Pungazi, all I want is my sister to come rest beside family.
RCMP say in 1988, Betsy went to a school dance in Pungazi First Nation. Witnesses saw her leaving the dance against her will. Then she was taken to a home and never seen again. Police say they believe she was murdered. Her body has never been found. They believe as time goes on, more people may be willing to talk. And Mounties say someone's already come forward for the first time. In an effort to push people to come forward, Mounties made this video with family and community members looking for answers and seeking closure. Investigators have been traveling to the First Nation often. They feel people are more willing to talk now that time has passed.
This has bugged them for a long, long time, and they feel it's the right thing to do. We've had a couple people that have never spoken to anyone before, and now they're coming forward.
Police say they believe the person or persons responsible for Betsy's disappearance and death were from the community of 700. A tip line has been set up. Anyone with information is asked to call the Manitoba RCMP Historical Case Unit tip line at 204-984-5604. Saturday will mark 1 year since Winnipeg's iconic Portage and Main intersection reopened to pedestrians, but the future of the underground concourse and the businesses still there remains unclear.
First of all, we continue to work with the property owners on the four corners of Portage and Main to hear them and to hear their concerns. Our staff wants to, is taking a look at what can be done in the underground, whether we do need to close it or whether there's some other means by which we can address the issue.
Mayor Scott Gillingham says he stands by his decision to not pursue costly repairs to replace a leaking waterproof membrane, which could potentially have kept the concourse open. That project would have cost in excess of $70 million. However, the mayor says the company that reopened the intersection actually made some repairs on the membrane as part of the work, but it's not clear how much of it was fixed. Prime Minister Mark Carney is offering new details about a recent phone call with U.S. President Donald Trump. Carney says the conversation laid the groundwork for next month's NATO summit in Turkey.
We had a long discussion with him and at times some of his senior officials, Secretary Hegseth and his Commander-in-Chief, on a range of issues, some related to NATO, some related to the situation in Iran. We didn't discuss Kuzma yesterday.
Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre says he's disappointed that Kuzma didn't come up during the Prime Minister's conversation with Trump. Poilievre says Mark Carney promised he'd have a good deal 1 year ago, but since then, he's made concessions while getting nothing in return.
You know, I just find it incredible that he's made about 6 major concessions. Digital services tax, Netflix tax, removing counter tariffs, the defense spending, the list goes on and on. Many of those things needed to happen. But why not bring them to the negotiating table and get something in return? Instead, what he's got is double the tariffs on aluminum and steel and triple on lumber.
The Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade deal is nearing an important deadline of July the 1st. That's when officials in all 3 countries must decide whether they want to extend the deal or agree to an annual review. Canada and Mexico have already declared they want an extension. The U.S. position remains unclear. The Winnipeg Police Service is modernizing its bike patrol. 16 new e-bikes have been added to the service's bicycle fleet. They will be deployed across all 4 districts for use in combination with the mountain bikes traditionally used by the patrol. Members say the new bikes allow them to reach a scene faster.
Been on the regular mountain bikes when there's a call maybe a few blocks away, and by the time you get there, you're huffing and puffing and out of gas. With the e-bike, that allows you to kind of maintain yourself a little bit more and be able to react to the situation once we arrive on scene.
The bike patrol allows officers to access locations with a lot of foot traffic that are difficult to reach by traditional police cruisers like parks and trails. The added mobility of bikes and now e-bikes means they also have an easier time attending special events. 25 officers have completed the specialized bicycle patrol training. The patrol operates between May and October. Here's a look at what's happening now in traffic along Notre Dame Avenue. Things are moving well starting off this Friday. If you have any traffic tips to share with us, please send us a text to let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
Let's go back now to Tandy, who's camping this morning, and we're learning all about what we need to know to be camping safely and have fun. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we're chatting about what Manitoba Parks has to offer beyond camping, and I'm joined by Kirsten. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, firstly, what can families experience this summer beyond camping?
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of things to do, really. The possibilities are endless, but a big part is our interpretive programming. So a variety of our parks have park interpreters that offer guided experiences that focus on promoting stewardship for parks through meaningful, hands-on, engaging experiences. So that's a really big one that people can look for. Another one is really hitting the trails. So no matter what you like doing, if you like going on walks, going running on trails, bird watching, paddling, we've got some canoe routes throughout the parks. That's a really big one and tons of fun to do, no matter where you are across the province. And then, of course, there's endless lakes and beaches. So really hitting the beach to hang out with your family, going boating, water sports, fishing, those are really popular things to do. So no matter what skill level you have, what age you are, there's endless possibilities.
That's so amazing. There's so much to do. And there's also some stuff that's popular with the kids. Can you chat more about that?
Yeah, so a big one is through our interpretive programming. We've got amphitheater presentations that our park interpreters put on, guided walks, campfire talks. They do craft programs, really hands-on things where kids can enjoy it, and also their parents can come and have a great time together.
That's perfect, especially with school out now. Like, that would be a great summer activity. And what tips would you give people who are visiting the parks?
Yeah, well, a big one I would say is before you hit the parks, check our website, manitobaparks.com. We have any restrictions listed on there that might be happening at the park you're planning to go to, but also you can get all those tips for trip planning. Remember, when you're headed out, leave no trace, keep your campsites clean, take everything with you that you've brought into the parks back home. Make sure that you're giving wildlife space and respecting their space as well. Overall, just make sure to check in with the website or your local park office also to grab a park permit before heading out.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. And my last question I've been asking all guests, what's your favorite camping activity?
I have to say bird watching. Huge bird nerd. So whether it's sitting by the fire listening to birds or going on walks looking around seeing what species I find, that's my favorite.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I have to agree. I love bird watching. We're hearing the birds this morning, and it's just so peaceful out. So if you want to come by, you got to do it. It's a great day to camp.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution.
Tandy's right about that. It's gorgeous out there. A good day to get outside and enjoy the great outdoors. 18 degrees, pretty clear skies. Winds are light out of the south-southeast. Pressure on the rise, humidity sitting at 72%. So yes, while it looks calm and lovely, we still do have that outside threat of some rainfall and some thunderstorm activity today. But in the morning hours, it looks to be pretty calm and pretty warm. Our current conditions unfolding across the province, lovely, balmy, pleasant. Those are all adjectives I can use to describe 16 degrees in Brandon and Dauphin, 17 in Portage, Morden and Winkler, and even warmer in Kenora at 18 degrees. Speaking of warmer, Island Lake, pretty nice at 19 to kick off your morning. Churchill still a little bit chillier at 9 degrees, but Thompson picking up the slack at 18. So yes, not much to show you, not much to write home about on our radar. A couple glimmers of instability there that could amount to a stray thunderstorm or rain shower, but nothing terribly substantial. However, that does change overnight. Details on that in a moment. But for one of those last remaining days of school, it's looking pretty lovely. 19 degrees as kids head to class under clear skies. 23 as they take lunch as clouds begin to build. And on that way home, that low chance of rainfall, maybe some convection, a high of 25 degrees. And 25 is bang on to what's seasonal this year. It'll be paired with some southerly winds at 20 kilometers per hour. Overnight, we hang on to that chance of rainfall and thunderstorms with 16. But then a different system altogether, a wide-scale upper sulfur trough that's brewed in the U.S. is pushing into the eastern prairies, bringing multi-day activity of severe convection. So what that could look like, although it's still not totally clear, it's still a little bit hazy with the modeling. It is going to be thundering tomorrow, likely some rainfall, and then from there a soggy stretch before that sunshine is likely to reemerge on Wednesday. We've got a couple of Winnipeg kids who got the opportunity of a lifetime at the World Cup. They tell us all about it ahead.
Two local young soccer players took part in a competition and got selected to be official ball carriers at FIFA World Cup matches in Canada. On June 17th, 13-year-old Cristiano Moret walked out with the match ball at the FIFA Ghana versus Panama game in Toronto. And 13-year-old Aiden Carasoni will get his opportunity on Thursday, July 2nd for the round of game 32 in Vancouver. And joining us now is Cristiano and Aiden. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations, what an honor. You've been playing soccer since you were 4 years old, Aiden, and Cristiano, you've been playing since you were 6, but this was always a dream of yours.
Yes, 100%.
You did this already. You did the official ball carrying in Toronto. What happened? Tell us about that experience.
So first, they have to prep you to do everything, so you actually got to go on the field and take the ball out and just practice. And even there, the nerves start running down and you're like, oh man, I'm actually gonna do this.
Yeah.
And when you go to the field, it's way different. It's you walk out and there's 50,000 fans all looking just at you.
Oh my God.
And everyone's screaming, doing the anthem, and it's just undescribable, really.
Did it feel like a dream?
Yeah, 100%.
And you, when you hear this, Aiden, you must be excited because your opportunity is coming up next week. When you hear Cristiano's story, does it get you more pumped? Does it get more nervous, excitement? How are you feeling?
More exciting. It makes it more makes me want to do it more.
Yeah. What are you most excited about?
Everyone watching me. That's in the nervous part, but that's the exciting part almost.
Yeah.
When you take out the ball, everyone's watching you. Everyone's nervous, but I'm gonna take it as an opportunity to show myself.
So FIFA, this is the top of the game. So how excited is it for you to be even part of that history making here in Canada?
Very excited. As in Canada, soccer is growing and it's keep evolving. So I think it's a great way for Canada to get soccer out and get out to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so getting in this competition wasn't easy for you. You had to go to Edmonton to be a part of this competition. Tell us about the process and what you had to do.
So in Edmonton, there's 150 kids trying out, all ages.
Okay.
And so from there, 5 kids got picked. And so 4 Manitobans from the 5 at Edmonton got picked to be top 25 in Toronto.
Yeah.
So in top 25 in Toronto, it was the kids were very good. They're very technically gifted. It was a bunch of elite top players in Canada. So out of that top 25, me and Aiden got picked as top 7. So 2 Manitobans out of the 7 got picked.
That's incredible. So, what did you have to do?
We just had to play games, and so first we had to warm up. So we did some practicing dynamic.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we did a small-sided game, and then we did a big game futsal. And then from there they picked 7 of us, and we got to know the day of, so it wasn't any waiting as well.
Oh my gosh, so you just said futsal. So soccer and futsal, they're 2 different games. Describe the difference between the 2.
So for futsal, you play on a court with different style of shoes. So for futsal, it's a flat shoe.
Yeah.
And it's court. And it's also with the smaller ball that's heavier and smaller nets as well.
Okay, so it's which one do you like the best?
I don't know. Futsal's growing on me.
Because you just started futsal, right? And your love for the game is growing as well.
Yes.
So from the experience that you had, what advice would you give to Aiden?
Just take it all in. It's short, just take it all in, have the best time of your life.
And Aiden, how do you feel? Because you're flying out the day before, you know that it's going to be a lot of people there, it's history making. What are you most pumped about?
Seeing the players actually.
Yeah.
And it's a round of 32 game. It's I think Switzerland's in it right now.
Okay.
I'm excited to see the other team. It's really exciting because, as you say, it's history in the making.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing. It's not going to happen again.
Absolutely.
In Canada.
Now, your friends, your soccer friends, what do they think about all this? They must be jealous of you.
A little bit. I mean, like, they're like, oh man, this is such a great experience. And so, like, for mine, I did a wink for my mom, like, when I was walking out.
Oh my God.
And they're all like, haha, you winked. I'm like, yeah, for my mom.
Oh, did your mom love that?
Yeah, she did.
What did she say?
She's like, I'm so proud of you. She's like, very happy for me, and just, yeah.
You're obviously inspiring to other kids who play soccer or futsal. What would you tell them about the sport and your love for the sport and why they should consider playing soccer?
Well, like, it's very fun. Like, it's a very fast, both sports, and like, if you're competitive and you always want to win, then it's like a great sport to play.
How about you, Aiden?
Yeah, I have to agree. It's like both sports, like soccer is like you have more time on the ball, and futsal, like, it's much quicker. You have to like think like really quick. But like when you play more futsal, it gets you better on the big game in soccer.
So playing the two is actually beneficial.
Yeah.
All right, guys, congratulations. We're so proud of you, and we're going to have some reaction from you on Thursday, Aiden, to see how it all went on the 2nd. Well, I guess the 2nd is the Thursday, so we'll see you Friday.
Okay.
Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you.
Oh, wow, what an experience. That's going to be incredible. Yeah, absolutely. They are in for the experience of a lifetime. And for those of us who have been watching the World Cup, maybe this weekend is a good day to hunker down and be in front of the TV because it's not going to be terribly pleasant. Today is really the day to get outside. It's 18 degrees, sunny and hot. I'm not used to this. Winds are out of the south-southeast at 11 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity sits at 72%. Once again today, we do have an outside chance of maybe getting a bit of rainfall, maybe some thunderstorms. That abounds through the entire province. For us in Winnipeg, timing-wise, it's likely to come into the afternoon. But more likely, consistently, it'll be a mix of sun and cloud with temperatures in the mid-20s. For us in Winnipeg, that's 25 degrees, paired with southerly winds at 20 kilometers per hour. Then things turn. We're pretty unified right now in Manitoba, but overnight, yes, we take two different paths. For us here in the south, we're tracking a new system that's likely to bring a multi-day event of potentially convective severe weather, so maybe some severe thunderstorm activities, definitely a good amount of rain lasting for a couple of days to come. So it's likely to move in overnight, bringing rain and thunderstorms tomorrow to southerly Manitoba, while the north deals with lots of sunshine, and again, that rainfall likely to stick around in our skies in Winnipeg until Tuesday. Gorgeous skies up in Grand Rapids. Thanks to David for sending in this weather picture, and keep yours coming to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Canadians are gearing up for backyard gatherings, cottage escapes, road trips, and fireworks celebrations. Lifestyle and parenting contributor Sherry French is here this morning to share her Canada Day essentials that will help you celebrate the holiday and the rest of the summer in true Canadian style. Good morning, Sherry. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Great to see you, too.
Well, first of all, Sherry, no Canada Day, of course, is complete without the great snacks. What are some easy, family-friendly options Canadians can add to their Canada Day celebrations?
Yeah, so for Canada Day, I'm always looking for easy snacks that feel a little bit special, but also a little bit Canadian. So my family loves, especially when we're heading to the cottage, you can see I'm at the cottage right now, I love Made Goods Cranberry Maple Organic Granola Bites. I promise you, they really deliver. So they're back only for a limited time, and they combine rich Quebec maple syrup, tart cranberries, and organic prairie oats for a sweet and tangy flavor that just screams summer. Easy to find. You can head to madegoodfoods.ca, your local Walmart or Loblaws. But I promise you, delicious. I can't keep them in my house. I had to hide these.
Easy as that, and it looks delicious too. All right, well, Sherry, personalized touches, of course, they're everywhere right now. How can Canadians elevate their summer entertaining, their cottage decor, and their weekend getaways?
Yeah, so whether you're prepping for a cottage retreat or hosting an alfresco dinner party, I promise you the Cricut Joy Extra will allow you to trade generic store-bought items for bespoke, personalized details. So you can pair it very easily with the free Cricut Design Space app on your phone. That will easily help you transform simple lifestyle concepts into custom cottage decor or anything you need for summer. But what I love about it, you can see how compact this is. It fits in my bag and go between my house and cottage. I love that I can take it anywhere I'm going this summer. Best part though, June 23rd to 26th. It's timed with Amazon Prime Week. The Cricket Joy Extra is now only $199. It's 29% discount from the retail price of $279. So head to Amazon Prime, get it today, and get decorating.
That is fabulous. All right, well, one question for you left, Sherry. Canada Day, of course, as we discussed, and summer entertaining season are here. What are some of your must-have essentials?
Well, there's only one place you're going to go, so if you need something for backyard gatherings or cottage escape or outdoor adventures, Canadian Tire, of course, has all of our summer essentials to help us Canadians gear up for any long weekends or the warmer summer months ahead. So I'm ready to celebrate Canada Day. As you can see, I've got the Hudson's Bay Striped Summer 2026 collection. It's now available at Canadian Tire. My favorite, though, is the cooler bag, because you know why? I'm taking stuff from one fridge, taking in this, going to another fridge. Water always at our cottage. I love this carafe. I love the stripes. So many great ideas. They've also got other stuff, though. They've got the Thermacell rechargeable mosquito repeller, always on my deck. But this is the latest thing to land at my cottage. We can serve ice cream now at my place. Ninja Swirl. It is so easy. It's perfect for the summer. So make sure to head to your local Canadian Tire or CanadianTire.ca. So many great summer options, as we know, at Canadian Tire.
Well, Sherry, that looks great, and you look great. You look festive, you look patriotic, and you sure do look Canadian. Enjoy that cottage of yours. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, and happy Canada Day, everybody.
Same to you.
Look outside now at St. Mary's Road. Things have picked up over here, but overall moving quite well. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
Sunny and gorgeous out there on this Friday morning. 18 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud. Winds are out of the south-southeast. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 72%. Yeah, we're going to be soaking up the sunshine through much of the day and through much of the province as well. And then things take a bit of a turn into the weekend. Hate to be delivering that kind of forecast. As you can see, a little bit of cloud coverage to kick us off, speckling the province. Also speckling those little flare-ups of green. Those represent a stray thunderstorm possibility for some instability. We saw that yesterday. It continues today all across the province. So to the northeast, where you have about a 30% chance of rain and thunderstorms, more likely though a mix of sun and cloud. Lovely highs at 26 degrees all across the board here, except for Churchill at 19. To the northwest, much the same. That low chance of rain, thunderstorm activity likely in the afternoon hours as those temperatures heat up. And do they ever? 27 Inland Lake and Flin Flon, Opaskwayak Cree Nation, the Paw, no slouch at 25 degrees, a balmy 26 expected in Norway House. Southwestern Manitoba, look at that, much the same, making my job easy on this Friday. Mix of sun and cloud, chance of that rainfall 30% at Environment and Climate Change Canada's estimation. Highs at 25 degrees. Same for us here through much of this region. Winds will be out of the south as well at 20 kilometers per hour, and we get that chance for instability in the late afternoon. Northwestern Ontario, warm, sunny, and again potentially rainy. A smaller chance for you at 30% as well. Temperatures overnight dipping down to about 16. Maybe we could get a raindrop here or there. Likely we're staying dry. Tomorrow, though, a stronger bet of precipitation as a more substantial system rolls in and sets up shop for days. It's looking like it's not going to break until Wednesday.
Thank you, Catherine. MPI is opening a second hail response center following an influx of storm claims. The Crown Corporation says the June 9th storm resulted in 25,000 claims, the largest number it's ever received from a single weather event. The new center, which is located at its Main Street Service Center in Winnipeg, will offer damage assessment appointments for those in the city and surrounding areas. After opening a claim, customers will be contacted with information about how to book at one of the hail response centers. Across the two locations, MPI will now be able to offer 400 daily appointments. People in the northern Manitoba community of Leaf Rapids say they're living in a state of crisis for several reasons: crime, a boil water advisory, and a lack of resources.
We have absolutely nobody advocating for us.
About 250 people live there. They've written to the province and federal government pleading for immediate help. In recent weeks, they've dealt with a rise in theft, multiple firearms incidents, and an investigation into the suspicious death of a 21-year-old man. The health center is only open during select times, and the grocery store has limited food and may have to shut down. They've also been without a town council since 2019, when the province dissolved the local government and assumed administrative control. Some people living there are argue the conditions they're forced to deal with are a reflection of systemic racism. Manitoba's government says they will continue to support Leaf Rapids and work toward finding solutions. The UN's International Maritime Organization has paused the planned evacuation of more than 11,000 sailors stranded in the Strait of Hormuz after a cargo ship was attacked.
If ships are moving as they should be moving, then that's what we're going to judge and that's what we're going to react to.
Just yesterday, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said if Iran interferes with shipping traffic, it would be a clear violation of the deal signed with the U.S. last week. The attack comes after the IRGC warned that attempts to cross the strait along a route designated by the UN would be unacceptable and completely dangerous. They say vessels should coordinate with Iran. For some seniors, loneliness isn't just about being alone, it's about losing daily connection. CTV's Kevin Green reports on a Calgary group trying to help new friendships take root.
It starts with a simple houseplant, but for Vivian Woods, the goal isn't just to brighten a room, it's to give seniors a reason to connect.
It's a good reminder that they're not alone and that we haven't forgotten them and that as a community, we're here for them. Hi, John.
Hey, come in, guys.
Hey, I'm Vivian.
Woods runs Growing Gratitude YYC, delivering free indoor plants to seniors who may be lonely, isolated, or living with limited mobility.
Even by delivering a plant, if you want me to come in for a cup of tea, I'll come in for a cup of tea. It might be the only conversation a senior gets that day.
For some, it brings routine. For others, it brings a visit.
For about a year, I just didn't see anybody and hardly talked to anybody at all.
University of Calgary researcher Alex Bierman says about 1 in 3 older Albertans surveyed reported feeling isolated. He says the issue isn't just social activity, it's whether people feel they matter.
One thing that we can really do to help older adults feel less lonely is essentially invite them into our lives.
Thursday, Woods, along with the company Tiva Grow, was handing out plants at Shea Lim Community Senior Living. The hope is they spark conversations between residents, volunteers, and staff.
For example, if I'm not a very good plant person, what if mine is dying and it's on its way out, and I can talk to somebody else who's good at it?
By having a program where residents are receiving them together also creates bonding for people to be talking about the plant that they received, maybe visiting each other's plants, keeping each other accountable.
Bierman says ongoing connection is what helps reduce loneliness.
To have these sorts of more ongoing, intensive opportunities where older adults can interact with each other and feel like they have engagement with each other, that's what's really going to decrease loneliness.
And Woods hopes one small plant can be the first step towards something bigger, a conversation, a visit, and eventually a friendship. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
Here's a look now at the current traffic situation along Portage Avenue. We have no issues to tell you about in this drive. And let's look now at your gas prices. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.60. It's a slight drop from yesterday. And the lowest price in the city is $1.44, found at Canco on Isabel Street and 204 Fuels on Salter Street. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the CMV Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
It's time now for your answers to our question of the day. We wanted to know what's the best and worst thing about camping. Unkdi shared the best part of camping is being one with nature. The worst thing is so many bugs at the beginning of camp season. I agree. Marlene says last time I was in a tent I was 19. I'm 62 and the best part was nature, but into luxury now. All right. Susan likes the pretty weather, can't stand rainstorms. For Craig, Manitoba has the best camping, but rain and mosquitoes can make it miserable. Lamont says for me it's being outside the city, away from the hustle and bustle. The worst thing is the mosquitoes. The worst part for Amanda about camping is waking up in a tent to a mosquito buzzing around her ear. For Sandy, the best thing about camping is being outside enjoying the trees and birds and having a campfire. The worst thing about camping is the bugs. And Cheryl shared the best thing about camping is going to different places, sitting around the campfire, cooking outside. The worst thing is the bugs, and of course, if it rains. Thank you so much for your responses.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic, science-backed body contouring.
Well, rain and bugs were the biggest pet peeves for people who like camping. And Tandy, are you experiencing that this morning?
I have experienced a few bugs this morning, I will say, but not that much. It's a little windy, so not too windy, so it's not that cold. And with the sun, with the heat, it's pretty nice. So it's a nice balance this morning. So if anyone's thinking about camping, it's a perfect time to do it. And now I'm joined by Elizabeth, and we're going to chat about what to bring when you're camping. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, what should people bring?
So the key to a good outdoor experience is always to be prepared. So from bug spray to sunscreen, you want to have a warm fleece for when it gets cold. You want to have your bathing suit for when it's really hot. And then you might want to have a rain jacket that can double as a windbreaker. So having the right clothes is one thing, and making sure that your equipment is in good condition. So if you're a tenter, you might want to set up your tent in the backyard once, make sure all the pieces are there, so that you don't arrive at your destination and find out that you're missing a pole or some pegs. You want to make sure that you've got your camp stove and extra batteries for the flashlight. If you can stay comfortable and you have your necessities, you're in for a good experience, regardless of what the weather's like.
That's so important. Very good to note for people. And what are some do's and don'ts that people should also keep aware of?
So camping is a shared experience. So one of the big things is to be respectful of your neighbors. Keep the music down. Respect the quiet hours. So from after 11 p.m., it's time to turn in for the night. If you don't have an electrical site and you've got a generator running, make sure that it's just for short periods of time. Always make your campfire in an approved fire pit so that you don't cause any unwanted incidents. You don't want to be responsible for starting a forest fire. And also keep your campsite clean. You don't want to attract the bears and the skunks and the raccoons and all the other things that are going to be curious about any leftover bits of food on the campsite. So after your meals, put everything away so that you can watch the wildlife from a distance instead of right at your campsite.
That's such important information. And just quickly, because we're out of time, what's your favorite camping activity?
Oh, I like sitting around the campfire in the evening and looking at the night sky and the stars.
I have to agree with that. That does sound amazing. Thank you for joining us this morning. And if you want any more camping trips, camping tips and tricks, you can go to Manitoba Parks.
Okay. Thank you, Tandy. My favorite part about camping is playing board games with my kids.
I like playing cards. I like, roasting marshmallows, all the favorite things. Speaking of roasting, you probably caught me fanning myself. It is hot out here, guys. I feel like this is the hottest start of the week. It's 18 degrees. Pretty clear, sunny skies currently in downtown Winnipeg. Winds are out of the south-southeast at 11 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity at 72%. Lots of sunshine and warmth on the way through all of Manitoba. Love saying that on a Friday. A mix of sun and cloud expected with highs in the mid-20s. In the south, southerly winds fittingly at 20 kilometers per hour. However, we always have that outside threat, or we have for the last couple of days, about 30% chance of rain and thunderstorms. That's all throughout the province. If we get it at all, it will be pretty short-lived and not severe. But that all changes overnight. In the south, we are tracking a system moving in overnight, likely to bring some strong convective activity. That means thunderstorms and rain through southern Manitoba tomorrow, and the rain's not likely to let up until mid-next week, while the north sitting pretty in lots of sunshine and above seasonal temperatures. I'm going to go enjoy the AC inside, but we've got so much more. CTV Your Morning Winnipeg just ahead. Don't go anywhere.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
It's time to see our sports team moment now. Today's picture is from the soccer team Sick du Sore Legs. Katya shared this photo of their last championship title. To participate in this contest, tell us your most memorable fun team moment, and you will be entered into the draw to win a $100 Chicken Chef gift card with draws every week. Head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form with your answer and your picture. Good luck.
Your Manitoba sports team moment brought to you by Chicken Chef, where memories are made.
In Vancouver right now, juggling has become a community event.
Energy, the environment, the atmosphere, it's magical. It's amazing.
Walk along Granville Street during the World Cup and chances are you'll come across groups of soccer fans kicking the ball around. The goal is to keep it in the air. Some of the jugglers are friends, some only just met, some are highly skilled, others are still learning the ropes. Their one common thread is the sense of community. When babies are born with congenital cytomegalovirus or congenital CMV, the virus could lead to complications like hearing loss. 1 in every 200 births are affected by CCMV, and often the babies show no symptoms of infection at birth. Local father Rob Tetreault started the Canadian CMV Foundation when his baby boy was born with CCMV in 2008. He pushed for the virus to be included in Manitoba's newborn screening program, and last year that became policy in Manitoba. But maritime provinces in Canada haven't changed their early screening protocol. That's why the father plans to run across Nova Scotia in July. And joining us now to tell us more about the Run with Rob project is Rob Tetreault. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Rachel. Great to see you.
You too. Thank you so much. Now, you've been running a lot to get this through. You've made a point. You were successful here in Manitoba. Take us back to when your son was first born and how you found out that this was even an issue.
Crazy. It was 18 years ago, and my son just graduated from high school this week. So 18 years ago, our son was born, and they told us through an ultrasound that something might be off. And we found out at birth that he had cytomegalovirus, and we had never heard about this thing, my wife and I. So went through all the protocols, and then, you know, spent months in the hospital. Thank goodness we caught it at birth because he got treated and had a great outcome. But that's not the case for most families, is what we found out. Most families, you know, they don't identify these conditions. It slips through the cracks. Babies end up being late onset hearing loss or you know, blindness, or they even die. And that just didn't sit right with my wife and I. So we decided to do something about it, and we created the Canadian CMV Foundation.
Okay, and you found out that this could be detected through early screening, just a simple test. Tell us about that part.
Yeah, so we do the heel prick on newborn babies. They take blood samples, they send them to the lab, they test for 20 conditions, and yet CMV wasn't one of those conditions. So I just started saying, like, why are we not doing this? And let's start pushing for that. And that became one of my goals, was advocacy for screening on all newborn babies, universal screening on all newborn babies. It's like a $10, $15 test. If we can do that, screen, we can then treat, babies have better outcomes, parents are happier, everyone's happier.
You've been on this for many years now, since he was born, right, Alexandre?
Yeah, it's been 18 years that we've been working on this. We created the charity about 12 years ago, but the real kind of advocacy dedicated to screening started about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay, and so then Manitoba changed its policy just last year, which is a huge win for you. How did you feel knowing that you did it?
Well, Manitoba was like my first vision. Like, I'm going to run across Manitoba. That's what I said I'm going to do. And we're going to raise awareness. I'm going to get earned media. I'm going to get media to talk about this. If we can get, you know, because no one was listening. I felt like I was banging my head against the wall. No one was listening. And yet, like, the data was there, the math was there, the cost benefit analysis was there. Everyone knew this was a benefit. So I said, if I could just get some attention to this cause, I need to do a stunt. And someone told me, you need to do a big stunt, Rob. So that's what I did. I ran across Manitoba, and it worked. They passed the protocol while I was running. The government that said they would do it, they committed to it, they got it done, and we've been screening babies now almost for a year in Manitoba.
Incredible. And so, but there are other provinces that are still lagging behind. So before we get to that, which ones are doing the screening with this condition?
So we're screening in Ontario, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta recently announced, so that one's coming. So that'll be about half the births in Canada once we get Alberta. So, you know, a lot of progress has been done, but like, we got nothing in the Maritimes yet, right?
Okay. So you're running across Nova Scotia?
Yeah, I did New Brunswick 2 years ago. I ran PEI last year, and this year it's Nova Scotia. I think they're the key because it's the Maritime Screening Project, and they all kind of work together out of a hospital in Nova Scotia, so I really need Nova Scotia.
When you ran across those other 2 provinces in the Maritimes, were people listening to you?
Yes, it was crazy. Like, we had meetings with the ministers of health. They're listening. They want to do this. They're a little curious how to do it, how to best do it. We have continued talks with them, so this is going to happen, mark my word. It's going to happen. I won't take no for an answer. It's taking a tad longer than I was hoping it would, but it is. We are moving. There's positive momentum. PEI we meet regularly with, and like, I've already got a meeting with the Minister of Health for Nova Scotia next week, and I haven't even started my run yet. So it is exciting.
Okay, so tell us about your run. It's going to be huge.
Yes, so I'm doing the longest distance I've ever done. It's 700 kilometers over 2 weeks, so that's an ultra marathon every day, 50 50 kilometers every day. I'm starting in the southwest corner, Cape Sable Island, I believe it's called, and I'm going all the way through Halifax, Truro, Antigonish, Port Hawkesbury, and I'm finishing in the northeast corner by Glass Bay.
Oh my gosh.
So it's going to be a lot of mileage.
Run with Rob. If you want more information, if you want to support the cause, we have a link on our website. Thanks and bonne chance. Good luck.
Merci. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I'm psyched when I do a 5K, so that is impressive. What a dad. All right, 18 degrees out there, sunny if you're hitting maybe a walk or run. It's beautiful, but quite humid. Winds are out of the south-southeast. Pressure is rising. Humidity sitting at 72%. Yeah, we're in for another warm day, similar to what we had yesterday. A high of 25 degrees. That is seasonal. Mix of sun and cloud with a 30% chance of rain or thunderstorms, notably into the afternoon. Southerly winds at 20 kilometers per hour. They shift slightly overnight out of the southeast as clouds build, 16 degrees, and we do have an outside chance of rainfall tonight, but it intensifies into tomorrow. An upper trough pushing into the eastern prairies, bringing a good chance of some rainfall and maybe some convective activity. So severe thunderstorm warnings could be coming, particularly tomorrow, though it's a little early to tell exactly how this will unfold. Southern Manitoba, though, likely to be pretty soggy through the weekend, and it's not likely to break until mid next week, but when it does, wow, a high of 30 with lots of sunshine. We're taking a break. Your videos of the day just ahead.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
This is Friday's show, but we're going to send you off with some fun video. We kick things off with a beautiful birthday surprise.
4, 2, 3, and...
Conductor Bruce was confused at first, but then realized what his group was doing. Together, the band celebrated their leader's 80th with a birthday song and cake. The Tanunda Town Band is recognized as the oldest continual brass band in the Southern Hemisphere.
I like how she's just patiently waiting with that cake. She's just standing there like, anytime, I'm here too.
Now to a group of kids in Southern California that has taken no screen time to another level with Scream Time. Great. This is a kid cover band called No Surrender. They played 90s and early 2000 classics like this one, Sum 41's Fat Lip. Sum 41 saw the video on Instagram and commented that kids are going to be all right.
I love that one. I was about 12 years old, so fitting with them. They're enjoying it too.
Oh, I love it. And finally, we finish off with the cutest furry family in New York City. This mama raccoon and her 2 babies are nestled nicely in this tree in Central Park. This sighting is extra special for locals because raccoons are nocturnal and aren't often spotted during the day and usually are going through your trash.
No
so
kidding.
This is a nice treat. Have a good day. We'll see you next week.